Yo, oh my gosh.
I know that's not the case, but after
What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! March has arrived. FTC is always vibe. Jimmy Eye Roller. His version be done with the Niners.
we are in the midst
Let's see what he
of
gotta
a civil
say.
war.
His version.
Yo,
I know that's not the
why I
case,
keep
but
doing
after
that?
seeing all
Animation. Bro, Jimmy Eye Roller. His version be done with the Niners.
we are in the midst
Let's see what he
of
gotta
a civil
say.
war. The age-old debate of past versus present has reached critical mass, and sides have been taken. A revolution is taking place, and we're losing good men. Old school versus new school. Back in the day versus modern day. A story as old as time itself. I tried to ignore this bloodbath, but just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, it all got so much worse. We done with the 90s. Film of
Bro, that
NBA
voice
games
is
from
so
the
funny,
80s
though.
and 90s coming to light, showing that the good old days were in fact not that good. This whole time, the punishing defensive legend was actually just a bunch of plumbers camping out in the paint looking for someone to hack.
Yo.
Flanking off the backboard, players running around aimlessly, wreaking havoc. And worst of all, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the supposed greatest basketball player of all time, didn't even have a left hand. What is going on?
Yo, who made
Have
that
we been lied to
Photoshop
about
right there?
basketball in the 80s and 90s? Are we really done with that era of hoops? Or are we being deceived by lowlights, misinformation, and cherry-picked clips? Well, I think I've got an answer. And some of y'all ain't gonna like it.
Let's see what Howard are gonna say. That's gonna be interesting. Been an interesting debate this past month, really.
Today's video is sponsored by Social City Percentage of the Tech. We done with the
Ooh,
90s.
that was a perfect skit.
5 simple words that have completely divided fans of the NBA. I've seen well thought out video essays, hard-hitting analysis, testimonies from past and present players talking about their experience in the league and how it's changed over the years. And none of those things managed to do what these 5 simple words have done in just a week. Soon enough, the clips came rolling in of players from that era dribbling off their feet, throwing up air balls, and putting together moves that you might see at your local high school's JV game. So, for whatever it's worth, here is my long-winded take on this whole
I
discussion.
want that matchup, man. I want that matchup. Fuck out of here. This manual simulation. Fuck you
Oh, that
talking
looks
about?
kind of cool. This is good production. We found
I want to
this.
begin by saying what this discourse has taught me more than
Oh, the old VHS. What the hell?
I want to begin by
This was right before the DVDs. Hey, bro, bro, you little 11, 13, bro. Don't be trying to act like this is like prehistoric age, bro. This is literally like perfect timing of like, you know what I'm saying, what a 90s baby would be growing up. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't in the 90s. Maybe like mid in the 90s. You don't need to explain. But the point is, bro, I will always have it appreciated. I really wish I kept the VHS, bro. You know what I'm saying? Did you even hear that they're taking like even DVDs like out of like shelves and shit, like in like Best Buys and stuff like that, bro? Everything is just turning straight up digital, bro. Yo, hey, you just gotta appreciate things like
saying
this.
what this
Keep moving,
discourse
you know
has
what I'm
taught me
saying?
more than anything else is that NBA fans today never actually took the time to go back and watch games of the past.
Oh, shit.
Brothers, I have been harping on this for years, begging for fans of the game, whether you are new or have been watching for years, to just go back and watch full games. Not highlights, not clips, full-length games of eras from the past. And after seeing this discussion devolve into where it is today, it is clear to me that most people never take the time. I'm seeing countless fans have this sort of awakening as they're watching films of these old games, as if the players were buried or lost, and it's finally being unearthed for the world to see. It's been right here on YouTube for the past 15 years. You mean to tell me the same fans who chime in with a full thesis on the
Say
GOAT
bless
debate
you.
never
Thank you.
spared the time to even watch the games they were referring to? I guess that does explain a lot. Now, I'd like to think I'm somewhere in the middle on this whole discussion.
The goodness of Hardee's 2 for $5 wraps just got better. Now choose 2 wraps for breakfast.
I have said on multiple occasions that players
we didn't
of
even have
today's
D-Book
NBA are
last
simply
game. I
more
remember
skilled
that.
than players of the past, which has resulted in bigger stat lines and higher point totals than ever before. It's not the defense that has gotten worse, it's the offense that has gotten better. You know, that whole spiel. But I also have an appreciation for the greats that came before and how incredible some players of past eras were. In fact, I almost feel like I'm hallucinating seeing this 90s basketball slander campaign unfold. I feel like I'm
you can't even lie. That pass was fire. I ain't even gonna lie. I haven't seen that pass animation, bro, in this generation yet. This guy, I'm bringing that passing back though. That was from Gary Payton. Yo, you don't see that in the future, like 3-3, 5-5 IRL. No bullshit.
Basketball slander campaign unfolded in front of my eyes.
East Bay pass. Oh nah, bro, that's fire. There, I came up with the terminology. Nobody called it interesting. They called it like the underhead leg pass. I called it the East Bay pass. Bro, I'm the first one to call it the East Bay pass. New basketball animation terminology unlocked today as of 3/14.
Literally overnight.
2024.
I know that's not the case, but after seeing all of this play out, it sure feels that way. But today, I'm not just going to show you some cherry-picked clips or unhinge this narrative even further. I'm going to show you real film, real data, and proof of how we might actually be done with the 80s and 90s. And, of course, if Michael Jordan really had no left hand. Spoiler, he did.
The game has evolved a lot.
Now, I have been an advocate for the modern players are better than players of the past movement for quite some time now. In fact, as crazy as it is for younger fans to say Michael Jordan was trash, it's just as absurd for older fans to say the game hasn't evolved and gotten better over the last 30 years. Because that's all this debate really is. Young fans versus old fans, or fans that watch this versus fans that are watching this. But objectively, players today are much better than they were in the 80s and even the 90s. Specifically, the lower end of the talent pool in the NBA today is vastly better than it was in the past. I think great players would be great in any era, but with the spacing, the shot making, the emphasis on offense as opposed to defense has made the depth across the NBA today just way ahead of where it was in the 80s and the 90s. There was, without exaggeration, guys in the NBA throughout the 80s and 90s that were on NBA rosters just to accumulate fouls and sit in the paint and be big. Some of these players were offensively inept, and that was okay because their role was not to create offense. But in today's NBA, where offense reigns supreme, there is no room for these players. Now, you could and should go back and watch film of games, not highlights, from this era and see just how limited the skill sets of some of these players were.
Yo, are you serious? There was a fight for the ball.
Was limited to set jumpers, slashers coming downhill for layups, and big men trying to muscle their way to a bucket down low in the midst of what appears to be a wrestling match.
I don't understand these CPUs. Like, are they dumb? Like,
simple things
what are they
like guards
doing?
Turning their back to the basket 20 feet out instead of creating space off the dribble.
Where are you going?
Even players looking down at the ball
you were going to screen. Okay, my fault. That's okay.
Very common in this era. And these aren't lowlights or cherry-picked incidences. This is just what the game looked like 35 years ago. But even without film, nearly every metric suggests modern players are more capable of players in the past. Free throw percentage was worse, three-point percentage was worse, turnover percentage was higher. They used to shoot more free throws, but still ended up with far less points.
That's crazy.
This is not to say
3.5 hour game with free throws?
That's just disingenuous and flat out wrong.
Oh, 2 hours said the old song back in the day. Disingenuous.
It was just simply not as good as what it is today. But maybe there's another layer to this that needs to be factored in to really understand why these players were not as skilled as the players of today.
34 needs to be retired, the Ray Allen of the Suns.
Now, despite this being a very relevant topic for years, the idea of rule changes and how these changes have affected the game still remain a mystery to some. Players were a product of their era and the rules of their era. The first step to discovering greats of the past is to watch film of them play. The next step is to gather and understand the context of the film you are watching. When you see a 6'9" Magic Johnson go flying down the court with what looks like kind of a stiff dribble, you may think the man has no bag. But, my friends, Magic Johnson did have a bag, but the rules in place at the time only allowed him to reach so far into it before he got called for every violation in the rulebook. Consider the fact that any move where your hand wasn't completely on top of the basketball was considered a carry. No 0 steps, no gather steps. You get 2 steps, and anything more was called a travel. No backward shuffles to create separation. No lunging into players to draw easy fouls. Here's a clip of Danny Ainge hitting Kevin McHale with a hezzy in the mid-80s. And the man thinks he just
Yo, he's cooking me,
witchcraft.
bro. Like,
After sessions were completed, some of the most competitive competition began.
Bro, the 1v1s back in the day probably was so toxic.
He's doing moves that are very typical and allowed in 2024. 90% of the moves you see today, the very method most players generate their offense, would be called for some sort of violation 40 or 30 or even 20 years ago. And this isn't just some cop-out or excuse as to why these players of the past weren't doing this stuff. The rule changes are real, documented pieces of NBA.
I just got a link to track a delivery. Did you get me a birthday gift?
Yeah. I'd Genie that. What? I forgot your birthday. That's not for me.
Download Norton Genie to quickly find out if an email, text, or website is a scam.
Sorry. It's fine.
I'm good when I'm quiet and so is my son.
Don't call me son.
A history. You can literally look them up. The game got looser, players grew up and shaped their game around these looser rules, and now they have free reign to let their basketball bag run wild. But that's kind of the point. Players of the past didn't grow up practicing 25-footers. They didn't work on a dozen moves to create separation. They played in offensive systems that focused on the team, the collective, schemes and sets that resembled something closer to college basketball, where ISO possessions were few and far in between, so they never developed an arsenal to counter these situations. The rules of the time limited their game, which resulted in them having a more limited skill set than players today. If Larry Bird grew up with a three-point line, he might have been the greatest long-range shooter ever. But he didn't. And as a result, he didn't shoot a lot of threes, and he wasn't as efficient as the best shooters today. We can sit here and...
No way, yo. OG Anunoby is literally right under Larry Bird.
As efficient as the best.
Yo, that's one thing we have to also... I was gonna say that, but I wanted to also let Jimmy Howard was cooking this video about
yeah,
it.
facts.
I
love he's being unbiased, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's being unbiased, looking at both sides. That's what I love. That's what I love.
No, but all jokes aside, the point is that, like, bro, there's just different offensive. Even go back to the early 2000s, bro. Like, majority of the centers was not shooting threes. You were literally looked down upon if you were shooting threes as somebody 7 foot, even 6'10" and up, and shit like that. Just let alone just the play styles, the adapting, and all that types of stuff.
Oh my
I was
God,
even gonna
bro.
say, bro, I even like fuck with. If you seen on that old Spurs
Just
video,
like in
bro,
real life, all these
where it had,
fucking
like, Jordan
threes,
Ice
bro.
Cream
Like,
Irving, bro, I
damn,
like
right?
the
Why
way they did that offense. I feel like more of that types of stuff needs to come back
Oh my God.
more consistently
Oh
in
my
today's
God, I
game.
thought I made it with
Because,
Drew
like, that's
Eubanks.
art
I
right
thought that
there.
was
It's just, like,
Grayson,
beautiful to
bro.
watch. 3 to 4 passes before anybody shoots or takes more than 2 dribbles and shit. Like that was something beautiful to watch. So, like, you know, they were forced to kind of play into that offensive system rather than just like, okay, get out ISO. I got the jelly layup package, the good dunk package. You know what I'm saying? I got handles like a street ball player. So it's just like they didn't have that type of, like, if they did, I feel like they would have adapted to it in a certain tier to certain players. You know what I'm saying? Like what you just said here. Larry Bird, when it comes to the three-pointer, you know what I'm saying? If that was taught more and more looked up upon back in the 70s and 80s, you know, Larry Bird would obviously be up there because, like, let's be honest, you know, like, and now I'm not the craziest, biggest Larry Bird fan, but I'm going to sit here and also give credit and everything, too. This is a Hall of Fame player. This guy was an absolute sniper and everything like that from beyond the yard. Bro, like, come on, bro. He's literally in the same competition zone as Swaggy P, OG Anunoby, Kirk Heinrich. Come on, bro. Like, he's easily in the top 70s. Low ball, you know what I'm saying, if that was...
shooters today. We can sit here and assume these players of the past might be as capable as players today if they were playing under the same
rules. I even feel like Will would be shooting threes like crazy. That was taught.
But they didn't. And I don't think we should assume that. The fact is they played in a different time and they became a product of that time. But that's not to say the game was trash back then, or that the superstars of these eras couldn't compete in today's league.
This man Jordan on Chewy. This was a long time ago.
Now, as time goes by, I think it's easy to forget just how long ago 1980 was. 44 years ago, if my math is correct, which is in fact a very long time ago. In 1985, Magic Johnson won an NBA title, Larry Bird won the league MVP, and Michael Jordan won Rookie of the Year. That was 39 years ago from today, which is the same exact amount of time that has passed from that 1985 season to the year the NBA was founded in 1946. Look at these clips. Do you think these players can compete with the likes of Bird?
Okay, see, this is a different story. If we start talking about anything like the 60s and below, like 40s, 50s, and the NBA, like, bro, like, come on, bro. It's obviously only a very few amount. Like, I'm talking about the top 1% would be able to even compete with this current gen. Bro, please throw me into this time period, bro. LeBron James is going to be sitting there fighting to get to 70,000 points. Absolutely fucking facts. You know, so, like, what are we
facts, because the skill level
is not even a debate.
No. But take the best players of the 80s and 90s, and could they
would he be
compete in
limited
today's
too
league?
because of the rules?
Absolutely.
Because of the
Give
dribbling
these guys
rules
some
and
credit.
shit.
Watching this today is the equivalent of watching this in the 80s. And yet this product is vastly closer to the basketball we see today than this product was to what fans were witnessing in the 80s. In fact, we can use different superstars as sort of a cross-generational measuring stick to see just how stiff the competition has been over the years. Larry and Magic played Michael, who played Kobe, who played LeBron, who has played the players of today. And nowhere down this timeline was there any real jump or fall off in production or level of competition from one era to the next. Each era had their stars. Those stars crossed paths with stars of other eras, and no one era was clear-cut ahead of the other. If the 80s were so bad, then why did players of the 90s have to wait for those guys to get old and retire to have a shot at winning? And if the 90s were so bad, then why did players of the 2000s not win until those guys retired? We don't need to assume that adjacent eras could compete with one another because we actually saw it. MJ struggled with some of the guys that came before him. Shaq struggled against Hakeem and Kobe struggled against MJ. LeBron struggled against guys like Duncan and Dirk. And players of today have struggled to get past some of the older players in the league who are a product of the previous era. Now, what we shouldn't do is jump 3 or 4 eras at a time, ignoring entire decades of evolution and saying the game back then was better or even as good as it is today. At a certain point, the knowledge and wisdom that comes from actually witnessing decades of NBA history, like some older fans have, becomes skewed and watered down by nostalgia and a generational bias. Superstars are superstars because their game transcends the era they played in, but they also played in an inferior league. These two ideas are not mutually exclusive. And although generational talents of the past would do just fine today, this same logic does not apply to the vast majority of the league throughout the 80s and 90s.
Bro, that dunk was crazy.
So if the 80s were inferior to today's league and the 90s were inferior as well, when did the NBA become not trash? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Ironically, I think there's a pretty clear distinction to this.
The best thing about Chime is being paid up to 2 days early.
Install the Chime app today.
I know we've only known each other a short while, but I just feel like you get me, you know? It's just like we
skill set of players before Michael Jordan hit his peak and after. For example, the early 90s and late 90s, although being in the same decade, were massively different in play style and skill set.
Oh my God.
Think for a second about the fact that Magic Johnson was still in his prime in the early 90s and Allen Iverson was entering his prime in the late 90s. In less than 10 years, basketball became a massively different game. By the late 90s, the players who grew up watching Jordan fly through the air and slice up defenses were in the league and were reshaping the role that perimeter players played. Guys like Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, Stephon Marbury, Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. All these guys came into the league around the same time and were products of what they saw MJ do throughout his career. Players with a skill set that more closely resembles what we see today than it did to the skill sets of players of the 80s and even early 90s. This is where I think most fans might make the distinction of when the league really took a leap, not in competitiveness, but rather play style. You can go
now thinking about it,
when the league really took a leap, not in competitiveness, but...
Bro, Iverson invented that Rondo fake that if people look into the Rondo. That's Rondo got it from Iverson. Bro, now we got to rechange the terminology for here. It's no longer called the Rondo fake. This is called the Iverson fake. This is crazy, bro. This entire time, bro. Like, I've been saying the Rondo fake as long as I've been playing ball, or when I found out about the move, when Rondo did that in the playoffs with the old Celtics Big Three from back in the day. Damn, no way.
Rather play style. You can go back and watch these guys play.
I gotta watch like throwback games back in the day too, man.
Today. Or you
favorite
could
players
point to
of all
the shift
time.
in play style that happened in the late 2010s. After Steph Curry redefined what makes a great championship caliber player, and the league adjusted to this new three-point heavy perimeter focused style of basketball. Similar
Oh my
to
God,
Jordan,
KD.
The kids who watched
Where
what
you
Steph
going?
was doing in the mid 2010s emulated that style of play, tailored their games to it, and are now in the league doing things that only Steph could do a decade ago. So if we're done with the 80s and 90s, where can we look back and no longer apply this era tax on these players? I think most fans would agree that the turn of the century is where the modern era of hyper-skilled players began. You can say objectively that this era was not trash, and most players of this generation would do just fine in today's league. But if that is the case, then modern NBA fans are holding a ticking time bomb, and they might not even know it. When we are older and a new generation of NBA fans claim
Oh my
our
God, that was a
favorite
nice
players, the guys we grew up watching, are not as good as the players of the future, what will you have to say? Right now, there is no one in the world who can shoot like Steph Curry.
That's right. There you go, high roller big W.
And eventually, there will be many players who can shoot like him. His records will fall, his percentages won't look as good through the lens of 2040, and although his legacy will be cemented, his actual game will be put into question. And based on the arguments I'm hearing today on why past players were trash, we will have nothing to say that will change their minds. We know that Curry was the first to do what he's doing. He is a pioneer of the modern NBA. We have context to back up our claims. But if we aren't willing to hear older fans out today, what makes us think younger fans will hear us out in the future? Mark my words. There will be a day when young fans will go back, watch film of LeBron, and say he couldn't compete with players of the future. In fact, it's already happening. Fans saying he has no bag. Younger players putting up bigger numbers than he ever did. Skill sets a bit deeper with games that look more polished. It's all fun and games now to crack jokes about past eras. But our day will come too, and it ain't gonna be pretty. But Giannis could only run and dunk. Your era was trash. Y'all had a dude who couldn't get 2 feet off the ground running the whole league. You can scramble to pull up clips and show the numbers, but their minds will already be made up. This is why I think it is so important to have genuine, thought-out discourse about the game if you're truly a fan of it. But to all of the older fans out there, you kinda started this whole thing. For years, we heard y'all badmouth modern players, saying the league is soft, players today couldn't compete back then. Back in my day, real men played the game. Y'all cannot be mad that some fans are done with the 80s and 90s when y'all never even gave modern basketball a chance. Sure, a lot of fans never took the time to go back and watch the greats of the past, but let's be honest for a second. Older fans don't watch games today. They catch a stray clip on Facebook of LeBron flopping, and like an echo chamber of disgruntled old men, they just start firing away in the comments, agreeing with one another. Y'all asked for this. I've been watching the NBA since the mid-2000s. Kobe, D-Wade, McGrady, Iverson, Shaq, Nash, those were my guys. But I can acknowledge those greats and say they were incredible, while also acknowledging that that version of the NBA
Jason
as
Tatum
a
is
whole
cooking
was
me,
not
bro.
as refined or as good as it is today. Now, will I be able to make that distinction in 20 years when some snot-nosed brat tells me my team was trash? I'm not so sure.
Snot-nosed brat? It's crazy.
Now, it's time to once and for all take a real close look at this accusation that Michael Jordan did not have a left hand. I felt like I was having a bad dream when I first saw this claim. But unfortunately, I was not.
Dude,
I
my
feel like no
defense
one
is so
actually
ass, bro.
believes this. This is
Jeez.
just some high-level trolling. But in an effort to stop this nonsense from spreading any further, I have no choice but to take these accusations seriously. So I selected 8 random games ranging from Michael Jordan's rookie season all the way up to the mid-90s, and play by play gathered all of his possessions throughout these games, charted when he went to his right, when he went to his left, and what those possessions resulted in. And here is what I found. Jordan made a move with his left hand or his right hand 227 times. Of those 227 moves, 121 of them were with his right hand, and 106 of them were with his left hand.
That seems pretty balanced.
Of the 121 right-handed moves, he passed up or got fouled on 54 of them, so I didn't bother charting those. 65 of these moves resulted in a shot, in which he made 63% of them and only turned the ball over 2 times. Now, moves that he made with his left hand resulted in a pass or him getting fouled 45 times, while 55 of these left-handed moves ended up in a shot, in which he made 51%, and 6 moves resulted in a turnover. So, based on this data, Jordan was definitely more comfortable going right, especially near the rim and even on mid-range jumpers.
But
he struggled a bit in comparison to his right whenever he pulled up off of a left-handed dribble. But overall, Jordan went to his left 47% of the time, and although it was his weaker hand, he was still above league average even while going to his left. But 8 games and 350 minutes of basketball is a relatively small sample size. So I looked into it further and found this. A detailed breakdown of Michael Jordan's shot chart and shot tendencies in 3 seasons from 1990 to 1992. 126 games and over 4,800 minutes in total, tracking exactly what Michael did on the court for 3 seasons. Holy. And here's what the data shows. In total, Michael made 1,074 moves in isolation.
That was beautiful. Oh my God, run that play back.
48% of those moves were with his right hand, and
what the fuck was that? I didn't even mean to do that. Like,
were with his left hand. Really? Going to
be honest.
Damn. See, it's an amazing thing when you actually do your research and stuff like that, man. So, literally, he dominantly used his left hand, but made his stuff with his right hand and was using his right hand as a deep.
Oh my God.
He's naturally right-handed. Like, that's
that was a
probably
good
the
ball.
most biggest, like, smartest finesse you can ever use in sports.
Michael shot 61.7% on 410 shots with 15 turnovers, resulting in 1.38 points per possession. When going to his left, Michael shot 61.3% on 421 shots with 36 turnovers, resulting in 1.31 points per possession. So even with a much larger sample size, Michael not only had a left hand, he went to it just as often as he went to his right, and was nearly as proficient with his left as he was with his right. Now, for some context, throughout this 3-year span, Michael made on average 4.4 left-handed isolation moves, or in this case, isolation possessions, that resulted in 1.31 points per possession. Now, here are some prolific scorers from this season and their overall tendencies and efficiency in isolation. Keep in mind, this data includes both right-handed and left-handed moves from these players. And now here is Michael Jordan with just his left hand. So, yeah, I'd say contrary to what has now become popular belief, Michael Jordan had a left.
Research
Goodness,
research don't lie, man.
Choose a biscuit with sand. And I cannot believe we had to dig into the data to come to this conclusion.
He went deep research. That is crazy.
There's no left hand. And I cannot believe we...
Damn. See, this is why, bro, you know that I have that real basketball knowledge, bro. When I just sat up here and did the rankings, this even, like, makes everything more confirmed that why Jordan is a top 3 forever player, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, with his left hand, no other NBA player that's playing right now. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's even hard to admit. You know what I'm saying? Even, like, my favorite player right now that's playing, Curry. You know, I don't see him when it comes to like points per ISO possessions with the left hand. Now, this is a separate statue. This doesn't mean that it's nothing bad with like him involving making threes and stuff like that. This is just his own separate thing when it comes to ISO scoring. So this means technically, like if somebody's in their prime, you play them one-on-one, the odds of you even beating them or even being able to defend them one-on-one, bro. And Michael Jordan is on top and by literally like 5 or 7 miles by like every NBA player, bro. Interesting to see that Kawhi is the second. So Kawhi, you know what I'm saying? I feel like should have been a little bit higher on the my all-time NBA rankings list and stuff like that. Just for the simple fact that he's able to go with his left hand majority of the time, and he's right-handed.
He had to dig into the data to come to this conclusion. I think the overall idea that the 80s and 90s were a far less skilled time in the NBA compared to today is probably fair. I mean, you'd be crazy to think the game hasn't evolved in 4 decades. But to say the league was trash back then is just wrong. I think more than anything, it's the style of play and the way basketball games would unfold back then that really throws some fans off when they go to watch film of these old games. It's like looking at a box score from the mid-2000s and thinking everyone sucked because the game's been
the greatest crossover of all time.
But the players weren't bad. It was just a different game back then. It was slower, more methodical, more team and scheme based than it is today. And similarly, I think you could say the 80s and 90s had its fair share of bad basketball. But that doesn't mean all the players were bad, especially the superstars of those eras. That was just the state of the game they were playing in. I think some older fans have a skewed perception of how good the game was back then, but I also think they just genuinely like that style of ball regardless of the evolution of the league. In 20 years, there could be a dozen players around the league that shoot like Steph Curry. But I doubt we will hold the same appreciation and affinity for those players as we did to the guy who pioneered this style of play and did it during the good old days. In the 90s, no one looked back at how the league was in the 60s claiming it was better. And so realistically, we shouldn't be looking back at the 80s and 90s claiming the league was superior than it is today, or even just as good for that matter. A lot of these ideas that favor modern basketball are becoming more mainstream as fans dive deeper into these topics and add context to narratives that have been floating around for decades. But I think this push to be done with the 80s and 90s is a bit overkill. We want to add context and nuance and knowledge to these discussions, not remove entire decades from it altogether. Sadly, I don't think any of this has or will change anyone's mind. This revolt against old school ball was either confirmation of what you already thought, or this entire discussion is just blasphemy to you. Are we done with the 80s and 90s? Maybe, but for the sake of the game and the greats that paved the way, I sure hope not.
Hey man, overall, through everything and through this detailed video of Jimmy High Roller, are we done with the 90s? Or are we not? That is a question to be asked.
Hi.
Hey.
You look so nice. This t-shirt looks so good on you.
Yeah, all the home.
If you don't have this knowledge, you could be successful, you could be highly educated, but
Being honest with where you stand and how you feel, it's really giving another person an option and opportunity to be as honest with you. And whatever your fear of that is, of that outcome, is never really as big as what you make it up to be. You know, it's really not that.
To be human, to give them a space to. Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the place you come to become happier, healthier, and more healed. I appreciate your ears, I appreciate your eyes. I'm so grateful that you're here right now, and I thank you for investing in yourself. You know that this platform is all about allowing the humans to be human, to give them a space to share their heart, share their mind, and share what's really happening behind the scenes. I think it's so easy in the climate we live in to get lost in clickbait and articles and views. And often that stops us from actually getting to understand someone and see someone for who they are. And today's guest is someone that I've been wanting on the show for years. So I'm extremely happy and extremely present, even more than ever, because this has been an opportunity I've been looking forward to. Today I'm talking to the one and only Michael B. Jordan, a director, actor, producer, who's recognized as an industry leader invested in bringing social change to Hollywood through his art and philanthropy. Making his feature film directorial debut, Michael B. Jordan recently reprised the role of Adonis Creed in Creed 3. I'm a big Rocky fan, so when Creed dropped, you knew I had to see it, which had the biggest opening weekend for a Creed film and biggest domestic opening for a sports movie ever, of all time. I just need to clarify that. Up next, Michael B. Jordan is set to star in Ryan Coogler's next feature film for Warner Brothers, and Michael B. Jordan also was named one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2023. He's been recognized as People's 2020 Sexiest Man Alive. My team went on about this. And one of the New York Times 25 greatest actors of the 21st century. And now he's got a new health drink out. And you know I'm a big fan of health and wellness. It's called Moss, the first of its kind sea moss beverage available nationwide as you're listening and watching today. Welcome to the show, Michael B. Jordan. Mike, it's great to have you here.
Man, Jay, appreciate it, man. That introduction is great. I just carry you around with me everywhere I go and just introduce me places. But no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, I wanted to add also, like in the few moments we've spent together, even just walking in, you know, if I can add to that intro, you know, extremely humble, gracious, kind, like thoughtful, like it's also nice meeting that. And I love that this platform is a space that can come out. And we were just talking about that. You were saying that you know, you've almost been looking for a space where you can share that, because you don't do a lot of press.
I don't. You know, it's seasons for it. You know, obviously, you know, when you have a project coming out or something you need to promote, you know, it's a part of that news cycle. But for me personally, I try to, you know, kind of say to myself a little bit and very cautious of how you want people to get to know you. You know, when you have opportunities to speak and share things about yourself, and not kind of, you know, be a part of sometimes other people's agenda, you know. So that's but been a big fan of yours for a long time, and the work that you've done and you are currently doing, and felt like this was a good time to, you know, to get out and talk and you know, share some things about me, I guess. You know, I've it's been a journey, you know. It's been a journey. So you know, this is a nice little check-in point, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I appreciate the trust, and I love that check-in point, because it must be fascinating to look back at something and then think about where you were in life, what was going on in your mind. So I wanted to start with, there was this one thing you said in an interview, and we were talking about this earlier, this idea of written versus being able to explain.
Correct.
And there was this great point you made that I think people wouldn't recognize with the amount of success you've had, the hits you've had. You know, I think people want to know about you and learn about you. But you said, when you come from where I come from and everybody doesn't get those breaks, that luck, you start to question, why am I successful in life? Why did I go this way and everybody went that way? And I just thought that was, you know, again, extremely humble and also representative of where you grew up, how you came up. Like, which way did everyone go and where did that luck begin for you?
You know, I think coming up in Newark, New Jersey, coming up in that environment, and, you know, having, you know, when you're younger, you know, you're living life, you know, you're taking it a day at a time. You know, you're going to basketball practice, you're going to school, you know, you're going to church, you know, for me, it was, you know, taking a lot of trips to New York City, going on auditions at a really, really young age, and just figuring out what that is. Having parents pretty aware, you know, and very present in my life, you know, growing up. You know, that was rare amongst my family, and amongst my friend group, you know, having both parents that was there and very present, and aware of my environment as well. You know, what you know, being told to look out for these things and make good choices, to be disciplined, to be focused on things, you know, get your school, you know, all the you know, the positives in growing up in an environment like that. And, you know, hats off to my parents, and to sacrifice so much to make sure their kids, you know, were safe and grew up in, you know, grew up in an environment that ain't easy, making ends meet, you know. Grew up very poor but didn't feel like it, you know what I'm saying? It was very, you know, they did a good job at hiding those things, you know. I think as we get older, we look back, it was like, oh man, we went through that, or that's why we slept in the kitchen that one time with the oven open, or that's when we stayed at grandma's house for, like, you know, a couple of weeks, when you know, so you get that reflection of how we kind of grew up. And I think for me, you know, always having a bigger purpose, I think, or just, you know, just that optimism, you know, that I was a big dreamer as a kid. And I think, you know, you start to, not just to focus on just the work of it all, but since I was working at such a young age, that's the thing that I can kind of point to of, you know, booking auditions and getting this job and traveling to this place and experiencing these things and coming back home with these experiences and not having a lot of people who could relate or could, you know, I could soundboard off of. And I think in feeling like that, you don't want to alienate those people. You know, and I think, and this is all, I guess, in hindsight, you don't share these stories as much. You know, maybe you should, because you don't want somebody to feel like inadequate or, you know, not being able to have that experience that you might have had. And I think, you know, that snowballs as you get older, and from stepping stone to stepping stone as I continue to be successful at a young.
If you're looking for a career where you can really make a difference in the world, to help and connect with others in a meaningful way, and want to learn how you could become the best version of yourself, then this message is for you. In short, I've set a goal for myself to help change the lives of 1 billion people around the world.
Age, you start to question, why am I being so successful? And the people that look just like me, that are right next to me in these everyday things, aren't necessarily doing that, or not choosing to, you know, just didn't have those options that were laid out to them. And I think you start to doubt yourself for whatever reason, or feel guilty for the things that you may or may not have. Even though, you know, our parents were people of service, you know, block parties or, cooking church dinners or, whenever, my house was the house that everybody came to at some point, whether we were going to get pizza that night or dad was going to take everybody camping or going to these things. Like that was kind of my house within my neighborhood and community. And so I think for me, being a person of service kind of, because, it kind of comes from how I was raised and those are the examples that I knew growing up. I always felt lucky too. As you become more successful and you see less people look like you that are being successful in this realm, and you end up being the one guy that looks like me that's successful, or the couple guys or the usual suspects that you see in the audition room, or and things of that nature. You start to sometimes question why you. Now I feel as though it was my path. It was my purpose and spirituality, and growing up in a household that was very focused on church and spiritual and meditation and just being aware of the world that we live in. I felt I was destined for something, not knowing what that was, but just something.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, when I'm hearing that, it sounds like, I love what you said. You were like, they hid we were poor and we didn't even see that. But this idea of like, you sound so, when I see you talk about your family, and for those of you watching, you can see it on Mike's face, but there's so much joy and there's bliss and there's like a happiness when you're looking back on that time. Like I can see it's a positive experience because of how you feel you've been loved and cared for and supported, even though the resources may not have been there or the access or opportunities. And I was wondering, when I was listening to you, like, is there a memory or an experience from your childhood that you think defines who you are today? Like, was there a memory or a story that you have in your mind of an experience?
Thanks, guys. Here with Jason Tatum. You have been rolling early. How did you get in that rhythm?
I think this appreciation for how I grew up coming in hindsight. The first time you have a moment where you're like, pick up the phone, one morning, you just call your mom and be like, thank you. I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry for being that kid at some point, and I'm so sorry for not understanding. I totally get what you guys are going through. Sheesh. I love you guys, like you have those moments when you get older, that you just can't really have that perspective when you're a kid. And I think, I was very mischievous, as well. And I think there were moments when my dad disciplined me, for whatever I did at that time. And then my mom would have a conversation with me around the why. And then being also forced or pushed and nudged into a space where you had to acknowledge your siblings also, in that situation, and the importance of family and what that means. My parents have different upbringings, from, and different family structures growing up. But one thing they've always provided us with is just a sense of like family over everything, and how important that is. And that just kind of kept the groundedness to me throughout. So I think just the experiences of just family.
I like your point about hindsight. I've definitely made that call to my mom, for sure. Like, yeah, I made that call to my mom. And we were around the same age, so for me, it's like I made that call, and I think I made it probably like 25, maybe 26. Okay, yeah, it was probably around then when I finally made that call. And not that I didn't love my mom before that, of course I did, but it was like that honest understanding of just how hard it was to do what she did, because she was raising 2 kids. She was dropping us to school, picking us up. She was the breadwinner of the family. She made us breakfast, lunch, and dinner fresh every day. Like, and you don't recognize that as a kid. You don't realize the sacrifice, the hustle, and always making you feel loved on top of doing all of that. It's hard work. You said that now you feel like you've got to a place that it's your path. What was that switch for you that went from like, I don't deserve this, God, like I feel out of place, I'm lucky, to being like, no, actually now I see it as this was meant to be my path? Because I think a lot of people, and a lot of our listeners will be there, like a lot of people are like, they're making moves, and maybe they're the first person in their family to go to college, or maybe they're the first person who started up a business and is an entrepreneur, or maybe one of our listeners is trying to break generational trauma and they're the first person to spot it. But then they all live in that space like, can I do this? Like, am I the one to do this? And so what was it that made that switch from like, I'm not sure I'm the guy, but oh, it is my path?
it's the sum of all things leading up into that point. I think it's all the doubt. It's the imposter syndrome. It's the blessings that you can't really accept fully. And you listen to other people speak who are successful, or you see examples that you kind of feel connected to. Like, man, that kind of feels like me. Or what he just said or what she just said, I resonate with that. You know, I feel like that sometimes, you know. Other people who are looking at you saying, no, Mike, this is what you have. This is what you can be. This is what you are. Nah, that can't. No, that's too good. No, that ain't me. You know, your own presence in a situation where you have to step back and look at yourself and be like, am I this guy right now? Like, oh man, there's a room full of people who showed up because of something I'm doing, and they're in service or in support of my idea, my thing. Okay, they're in service of.
With health equity, we're essentially meeting people where they are. Are you really?
Your own presence in a situation where you have to step back and look at yourself and be like, am I this guy right now? Like, oh man, there's a room full of people who showed up because of something I'm doing, and they're in service or in support of my idea, my thing. Okay, that looks and feels like I'm the guy. Okay, I'm in the industry where, you know, the success of your work and your art has been, you know, dictated and validated by other people's opinions, and whether those opinions are factual or projected on you from their own individual perspective. I think it was a combination of all those things, and I've always been curious and walked towards how do I make myself better? What are the things that I need, the tools that I need in order to improve myself, the way I think, how do I maximize myself, you know? So from, I think, getting an executive coach, you know, who talks to executives all day and you know, how to create healthy conversations, the right type of conversations to have as you're building a team around you. Because, you know, as you know, it's not just us. You know, we have an entire team of people that surround us that help us achieve our dreams and get the big idea done. You know, a spiritual advisor, a spiritual coach that I have who, you know, helps me do my energy work, my spiritual work, and help sift through the noise and find those things. And I think it wasn't until I had, you know, roles that challenged my spirit and myself in a real way that in the weight and where the attention was so loud that it was, you know, it was deafening, and it was and I couldn't, you know, see clearly. And
damn, how tall
you know, these champagne problems. You know what I'm saying? You know that, like, you know, we're blessed. So
he's 6'5".
But the weight is so heavy.
Grayson?
You know, and people sometimes think and they see what we have or what, you know, what we're doing, and it's like, oh, just be grateful, you know, or just, you know, what are you complaining about, you know? And
come on, Grayson.
You know, most people wouldn't be able to walk, you know, a block in our shoes, you know, with this stuff. And I think it was. And then you have moments where you resent things and you're angry at, you know, the feelings that you accumulate for not being clear or not understanding, you know, why this. There's a lot of whys, and you're not going to get all the answers, but you want to, you know, be able to get to a place where you're clear. So to answer your question, when did I decide? When did I feel like that? Maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. You look at where your family has come from, and shit, look at your bloodline. You know, you look at, you know,
that's not fair, bro. Like, how is he just doing that?
There's a cycle there from generation to generation that happens. When you get to yourself, you're like, man,
like, what the fuck?
Can I stop this? Can I change this? I can do this. Once you know better, you gotta almost do better. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I refuse to ignore it. I refuse to see it an opportunity that I had to change things. and act like it didn't exist. And I think that was the thing for me that was
You
like,
gotta make that shit your
nah,
purpose, bro.
I gotta, if that's my purpose, if that's my path, is to just see it and I can see the pieces, and if I can just continue to do this, or if I stay down the pathway on that, and I might be able to make a big difference in my nephew's life or my future children's, my future grandchildren's life, I got to do that. Because there's been so many people that it wasn't the perfect storm for them to have that opportunity. It wasn't the right time in the world. Technology wasn't there. The resources, the right social conversations are being had for us to have these platforms and speak and be successful the way we are. You know, you gotta do it, and I think that was a big part of it. You know, understanding my own mortality. You know, and understanding, you know, life isn't a forever thing, and I think that happens when you get older too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just turned 37. And it's like, wow, I vividly remember, 15. I vividly remember 21. I vividly remember 25, 30, and I used to look at 35, 37 like ancient, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, we're here. And it's like, you got to do what you got to do while you're here and make an impact. You got to fulfill yourself, whatever that may be, And I think so. Yeah. So that moment for me where it was like, okay, I can do this. I can. Maybe a couple years ago, I think it was like right as I was stepping into directing Creed 3, and the weight of that, and being the captain of the ship the first time, being captain of the ship. I've made movies before. I've done that. I know what that's like, but I've never ever been the director. The captain of the ship, and I think that responsibility, that pressure, that, I'm not a dad, but everybody's looking to you for the answer, for the solve, for the leadership. And I think that really thrust me into a mindset of leadership that I'd never quite had the opportunity to do before.
I mean, there's so much in that.
Sorry, I said a lot.
It's great. I like it. I prefer it that way because I'm connecting all the dots as you're speaking. And there's so many things I want to unpack with that. One of the things that really resonated is this idea that you had to challenge yourself. You had to do something out of your comfort zone in order to even recognize that you could become, that you could be, and that you could develop. And often we're waiting to become before we take on the challenge, but it's the challenge that makes us become that person. And I think we resist, even what you said earlier about the opportunities, this idea that if you have opportunity, and there's an Eastern spiritual teaching which talks about if you have opportunities and you don't take them, that's a disservice to humanity, because they're opening up to you without your will sometimes, right? Like there's some of us, and we'll sabotage ourselves because we'll say, oh, well, I didn't ask for that. I didn't know that was for me. And so I love the idea of anyone who's listening or watching what Mike's saying. I love the idea of leaning into that opportunity that is opening up for you. And even if you don't have the skills and you don't have the talent yet, or you don't have all of the tools and the abilities, it's going to force you to develop them.
For sure.
And you're talking about the coaching. I want to go back to that and ask you about that, because you want to be better mentally, physically, spiritually. It's a big part of who you are, and even the projects you take on, which I want to dive into. That you said roles that challenge your spirit. Even the idea that you're looking at a role not as, oh, what's the next movie to get me the thing? It's like, oh, that's going to challenge my spirit. I wanted to ask, what has been your best,
I gotta set my timer,
best habit or tool uniquely that you've developed for your body, your mind, and your spirit individually? What have been things that you've done with your coaches in different areas that you think has brought about new epiphanies, opportunities, and ideas? What have been those tools and hacks that maybe people could lock into as well?
I think there's this woman, Ramona Oliver, that's known me my entire life. She's my spiritual advisor and coach, and I think starting the day, in meditation, you're taking a moment to clear yourself and prepare yourself for the day. It's so important.
Meditating is fire, bro.
To step out of your home with intent.
It's like a reset, like a complete reset.
What are you projecting on?
I only do it for 10 minutes a
situation
day.
to help it manifest
And
instead of negatively thinking about things that can help block your blessings. That's a big thing, you know. So I think, and we all have moments of negativity. That's part of it, you know. It's yin and yang. You're never gonna fully get rid of that, but to practice those things in the morning, I think was a big help for me.
Yeah, huge.
You know, you shoot movies and you're doing things, you're walking out, you know, there's you hear stories of people that just can't get a break sometimes. And for whatever reason, it could be from stepping off the curb, twisting the ankle, to, you know, the parking ticket, to the thing, to the, I just can't get a break. And there's certain people that carry this cloud, you know, and I think some of that can be contributed to the thought process and the thinking and the energy that you're putting into these things. And it's sometimes easier said than done, but to stop and to reframe and to clear yourself and to, you know, no, I'm walking in this light today, and see how much of a difference that can make. And more on the structural side, this guy Drew Kugler, who no relation to Ryan Coogler, who was a executive coach, and you know, as my ambitions grew from a production company to brand marketing consulting companies to, you know, just the products and the businesses, you know, the conversations I need to have with the team, you know, and leadership, and the everybody's coming from different backgrounds, and how do you speak everybody's love language? Because everybody, you have to speak differently a little bit to everybody, so they can receive it the way you meant it, you know? And I think having the quality of conversations is something that was really helpful for me.
That's a block.
Meaningful conversations. And giving people the space to hear me and also hold them accountable to the things that I need to hold them accountable for. I think though the combination of the two allowed me to look at situations and opportunities differently, for people to look at me differently. Because it's also a troubling thing when you're walking around. As talent for a long time, that's how they see you, you know. And
you have an identity.
I have an identity. That's what they're. So there's these kid gloves that come along with that. You know what I'm saying? It's not everybody's fault. Everybody's in a role. You have to sometimes step back and look at the thing that we're in. You know, like, we're in an industry, you know, that has generations and generations of taught behavior and practices that any positive disruptor has to understand those things in order to disrupt them in a way.
Absolutely. And
evolve them, you know, and things are evolving. You see it, you know, things are evolving in a way, and if you can look at it in a higher way, I think you can find your way through that.
Yeah, that resonates. You reminded me of this beautiful statement from Mark Twain, where he said that history never repeats itself, but it always rhymes. And I find, like, when you were talking about the industry, I was thinking about how if you don't study history, you have the rhyme happening in your life, but then you can't interrupt the pattern. So if you were a young star, which you were, like, I love The Wire as well, I've been a fan of the show, it's like, so you start in this industry early, and then you could spend years trying to figure out why you still have the kid gloves on.
Yeah.
Because you haven't studied that, wait a minute, that's what happens, that unless you disrupt the pattern, present yourself differently, show more of yourself, people are always going to say, he's talent, he's an actor, that's what he does. As opposed to, oh, he's a director, oh, he's an entrepreneur, oh, he's an investor, right? I know you have lots of investments, all again in the health and wellness space, like sports teams, and we're talking about Moss as well. So it's interesting how much, if you don't study the history of our industry, we get locked in the identity of the role we've played in that space. Forever. And it's so easy for us to get used to feeling, and often we do it to ourselves because it's comfortable playing the same role. And there's a familiar feeling of when I play this role, and I felt that in my own small way, like when I went from having to create content to get my message out there, even though I wanted to do TV or film or whatever, and couldn't get a break, and so I went to content. And then I launched a podcast, and I told you about why we launched this podcast earlier. And then I wrote books, and it was like every time it was like, oh, we thought Jay was this, but he's actually and I've had to go through that, and I've realized the hardest part is you letting go of that identity
and reinventing yourself
and allowing yourself, right? Go on,
no, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, have you ever, like, you know, has the podcast been something you've always wanted to do? And this is me, I'm just curious, or is it something that you had to you forced yourself to reinvent yourself in a way? Because this isn't it for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's not. You know that this is a stop for you. This is a chapter in your book. Did you ever think I have to reinvent myself, or was that a product of the things that were telling you no, or the things that was challenging?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a mix of them all, but the thing that kind of like supersedes all of them, which I try and tap into, which I think you'll resonate with, because I think that's the conversation we're having, is having a connection with your intuition. Like for me, it's I'm not looking at like, oh, what's the next trend, or like how do I disrupt myself? Because to me, those things are still following other patterns.
Got you.
Whereas it's intuitively going like, what is the thing that I bring, or what do I want to do, or what is the missing piece of the puzzle that I believe I have a unique qualification to fill.
Got you.
Because if I'm always looking around, there will always be a million things. Like I always say to people, if you go to a real estate conference, you'll realize you don't invest enough in real estate. If you go to a cryptocurrency conference, you'll feel like, oh crap, I didn't do this. And if I sit with a group of actors, I'll be like, oh man, I should have started. Like, you're always gonna feel the deficiency of the trend that you study.
Correct.
And so if you live that way around, it gets really complicated, because then you're like, well, do I do this or do I do that? Like whereas when you go inward, it's like, oh, I feel alignment with this right now, because it lets me express myself, it lets me connect with people in a certain way. I feel I'm at the right evolution in my journey where it can manifest, as opposed to like, oh, yeah, let me just figure out what the next big thing is.
Correct.
If that
makes so much sense, bro. And I think that's what it is like your alignment with where you feel truthful.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that always doesn't mean you're going to be financially okay.
That's good, D.
Totally.
What? Well, you know, like you can feel spiritually aligned and everything, and mortgages due. You know, rent is due. You feel me? So there's that element of it as well that you have to find your way through. Yeah, that intuition, that North Star is something that has led me all types of places that I wouldn't trade in for the world. You know, just that feeling of this feels right. Yeah. And I know, does it make sense?
Like, is he like
probably,
that for real?
There's probably some other things on paper that seems
He's
like
not
the better
doing that to
option
KD
or choice,
in real life, bro.
This
Come on,
feels
man.
right, and you know,
I mean,
more
I
often than
guess.
not, you know, it's been the right move.
Yeah, I love what you were saying earlier about how the thought process is such a powerful way of breaking out over the cloud over your head. And I think we all have moments where the cloud feels like it's never moving, and it's constantly raining on you. And I think a lot of people who are listening may feel that way. Like, have you ever been in that place? And what has helped with your thought process as you've been tuning that? What's worked for you, at least?
That's your moment. That's your moment. It's not that all is lost. When you're feeling the most trapped and down and nothing can go right, I feel like those are the moments that define you. Those are those character canon moments that are like, what am I going to do now? You know, how do you respond to that? And thinking your way, feeling your way, working your way through those things on the other side, it's like, you know, I don't know who said the saying, but like usually, you know, you're the closest to getting what you want. It's always the hardest. It's always the feeling when you're getting ready to, you know, people give up right before they get what they've always wanted to get. People quit and they give up. And I will not be the person who quit before I got what I wanted or what I needed or what I felt I was supposed to have, you know? Like, and if that wasn't for me, it wasn't for me. I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep knocking on the door until I get what I feel. That's been something I've always felt since having the name Michael Jordan and understanding that there's another guy out there named Michael Jordan that was the best ever to do something. And being teased and picked on about that and made me for a moment not wanting to play sports. But then it was like, nah, I'm actually going to make sure I'm going to compete. At least I'm going to compete. You're going to at least see me. I'm going to be somebody that it's not going to be, oh, his name is this. It's going to be, oh no, but he can play, or oh no, he can. Oh, he has something about him, something that is formidable, that is above average, that is unique to him, and it gave me a healthy chip, you know. And for the people who are listening, who who do have, that doesn't feel like they can change the circumstances with the way they think or they feel, just hold on, just endure, look at things differently. Challenge yourself to look at things as the glass half full. Challenge yourself to think 4 steps ahead. Think your way through it. Like, now we have so many tools. We have so much information. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but there's so much information to be curious. Find something that does resonate with you, even if it's not in the world that you ever thought you would be in. Find something that you align with. And because everybody aligns with something, that's not an excuse I'm willing to take from anybody. Align with something, and find your positivity, find your intuition within that thing, and be obsessed about it.
What have you been obsessed with lately? Like, what would you say is the thing you're most obsessed with right now, or that you have been in the past couple of years that is kind of just attracted? And
I've been obsessed with getting my team right. I've been obsessed with getting the right personnel on the right brain frequency and getting everybody on the same page to accomplish these things that we need to go accomplish, because I truly believe it's going to be better for everyone. I think it's really going to make an impact, and so there's a obsessiveness that you got to have to over communicate, to follow up, to be redundant, to be consistent, that you need, and I'm obsessed about it. Strengthening my family, I'm obsessed over it. To lead by example, and break generational trauma and curses. I'm obsessed over it. And I'm obsessed over every project that I lend myself to. So this.
Being a first-time parent is so intimidating. There is so much information. You feel like you're doing everything wrong, and you, of course, want to trust doctors. But even when your gut is telling you, like, maybe I shouldn't do that, you don't go with your gut sometimes because, well, this person's a doctor, or this person's an expert. Well, thankfully, I have created a series that makes it so easy for you guys to really dive into.
Next movie that me and Ryan's doing, I'm literally, I'm growing all my stuff out, my hair and stuff out now. I'm becoming obsessed with it. And that character, and it's an addictive feeling to have a thought and see it come to fruition, to create something from an idea, and to be persistent and to see it and to manifest it, manifestation. I just love it. You know what I mean? It's just cool. So that's something that I've been really, really locked in with. And I think it's also something that is going to help people. There's always I don't want anything that's not multi-hyphenate. I want anything that I'm involved in. It has to have layers to it. How do you help? How do you educate? What's the leave behind? What blueprint am I leaving for the next generation? I got a nephew now, that is looking up at me constantly. Yes, because of height, but also because of the example, and he's mimicking everything I do. He's mimicking anything. I can say something, do something, I can sit a certain type of way. Oh, snap, he's doing it too. It's crazy. So it clarifies your intention when you do things, because you want it to have, purpose and intention, So those are the things, and I'm obsessed with being the best version of myself. And that's a daily thing, and some days are better than others. Finding myself in a world where there's so many seen opinions about yourself, when everybody's telling you who and what you are, learning how to live, growing up in it, and it's so wild. I've been doing this for 25 years straight. And that's a wild thing to think about. But man, more than half of my life has been my identity. It's been through the work that I've been doing, and growing up with social media didn't exist. Now it does. At a point where I'm old enough to understand what that can do. So I'm obsessed with finding myself now after and not having to prove anything to anybody other than myself and my family, really myself. And realizing that is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like giving your best is enough. And sometimes we lose track of that, and yeah, so for anybody out there, you're enough, man.
Absolutely. Let's toast to that.
Let's toast to that. Yeah.
All right.
Shake it up.
Shake it up.
Yeah, man. And this is the pure. So we have 3 flavors right now: the mango ginger, the pomegranate. But this is the.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, my guy. Appreciate you, bro.
I'm excited to try this. Oh, that's good. That's easy.
Easy.
It's easy.
And anybody else had like
yes.
sea moss in the past, they might not have had a good experience because they kind of tried to clean it and process it themselves.
It's so smooth.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Don't taste like the ocean, but it tastes a little, it's a little heightened.
It's like it's refreshing, it's smooth, and it's easy. That's how I feel about it. I'm like, this is like.
And it's a great mixer, I don't know if you want to do we call them moss tails, but like if you want to do like mocktails, moss tails, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Or if you want to mix them like with drinks, like with spirits and stuff like that, it's a really good, yeah, man, I just, this is 5 years of obsession. Obviously when, health scares all over the place, people, not a lot of information on what's really going on, what can help, what cannot help. I was, finishing up a movie in Berlin, and doing my own stunts, not sleeping a lot, in a foreign place. Food wasn't really my thing as much, and I was looking for something to kind of just help me get through my shoot days. And I would just chug sea moss, by the jar, just to, cause I was just, it's gotta be doing good. I know it's doing good, just buy the jar, and then, on the flight home, I was like, it's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
So I started making smoothies, started, blending them in. And my sister was pregnant with my nephew Lennox at the time. So, at that point, everybody was in their own bubble, and, wasn't able to kind of visit many people. So we would just blend up smoothies, drop them off at the front door. That was my little care package that I would do. I would do sea moss, and I would do like a homemade little pasta. And that was my act of service for my family, So that labor of love, that kind of, it started from a place of just trying to help my family, just like, stay healthy during a pandemic. And it slowly evolved in something that I wanted to get, make it accessible to everyone.
Yeah, for people who don't know the benefits of sea moss, what are some of the things and the properties?
It's that cognitive brain, it's that clarity, your immune system. So being able to harvest them in a way that gets those nutrients inside of this drink and your daily dose of moss is something that I was really, really exciting me about, just like making a beverage about it.
Yeah, the aftertaste is great too.
There's no, it's there.
It's nice.
It makes you want to drink more of it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And yeah,
it's good, man.
It's good, man. Yeah. It's good, and it's yeah, I'm proud of it.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
No.
Now we know we got to go to yours, man. What's up?
No, we'll have to do a moss tail now with Junie and moss. Yeah.
No, but I love it because we got ashwagandha in ours as well, and ginseng. So I mean, you got all the adaptogens in it, so that's great.
Yeah. No, it's been a labor of love for us too. It's like me and my wife always talked about it as our COVID baby. It's like this is what we were working on because we were the same. We've been addicted to tea our whole lives. And we did a hot tea as well, but we were like, for a lot of people, their hot drink is coffee. And we're like, well, wait a minute, what if your soda could be healthy for you and good for you? And, how could we do it where it has, 0 grams of sugar? Like, how do you still get it to taste great with no sugar? Because me and my wife are both off of refined sugars and trying to be healthy and all the rest of it.
Yep.
And then you realize that all the sodas you're drinking are full of it. So how do we make it easy for people to understand these herbs and these adaptogens? And, because a lot of people, we grew up with it. We were lucky in our culture, in Indian culture, you grow up with a lot of these herbs and spices in your daily food.
Exactly.
But a lot of people don't have access to that. So it's like, how do you make it easy when people may not have it in their kitchen? So yeah, man, I'll send you something to try later as well.
No, please do, man. I see you got the agave in there and everything, and I love this, man.
I was loving what you were saying about the building of teams. Because, and something you said was like, how do you keep everyone on like the same frequency and like attract those people? And I I went through a big thing for that in a certain part of my work around 2 years ago. A lot of people that are in my sphere today, some of them have been around since the beginning, and some of them came on in the last 2 years, and it has been life-changing.
Yes.
Like, absolutely life-changing from an energy standpoint, from a spirit standpoint, and from a productivity effectiveness standpoint. How have you been trained, or how do you sense, beyond like someone being able to do the job, obviously, how have you been able to learn how to sense or understand whether someone's on that same brainwave, and as you said, or brain energy as you are, and has that same value set that you have?
I think it's a lot of conversations, and sometimes trial and error. I think my intuition and my gut is the first, litmus test. It's the first kind of line of defense, that I have of like energy's vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that you feel on par. How you answer a question. What are the things that you're saying? Are you speaking from ego? Are you speaking about what is the thing? We meet so many people. We have to use quick judgments, and who gets our time. Who do you open up to? Who do you not? And I think when it comes to building into a team, especially nowadays, you're coming into something that's well oiled.
Yeah.
You're coming into a machine already. So you have to fit, not just with me, but you have to kind of fit with everybody. You have to know how to communicate the things you need to know how to communicate to. You have to, the ego is something that can get in a lot of people's way when joining a team and joining something that's already really established. And I think coming to a place of learning and listening is really important.
Shut up.
And not taking things personally. I think, and then it's something to the people that's already been in the team to understand that there's going to be additions, and there is a process there's an onboarding, there's a welcome, there's a thing that you have to bring people into the fold in a way to get the best out of them. So I think there's been those learning things along the way that really helped me identify people who that fit and work well within the circle, yeah, I think that's been my kind of process thus far. And then, I always want to create an environment where people want to be.
Yeah.
You're not here for a check.
Yeah.
You're here because you believe in what we're doing and what we want to do. And I'm pretty transparent about those things, So I think just being extremely transparent and forward with those things and know that there's nothing personal. This isn't it, Like I'm the best. I'm the guy that's all.
If you're looking for a career where you can really make a difference in the world, to help and connect with others in a meaningful way, and want to learn how you could become the best version of...
I was going to give you a great recommendation. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to win.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want people to win. And seeing somebody in their strengths, and being like, okay, I can use that. This would be helpful in this way. And if that works out, it works out. And if not, then man, I want to see you do well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I remember years ago I was listening to Eric Schmidt, who was the CEO of Google for a bit.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they were looking for smart creatives, and I love that they had two words that kind of summed up what they looked for. They looked for people who were smart creatives, and for me it became humble champions. I was like, I want humble winners. I want the people who want to win and have that ambition,
but are able to put their
ego aside, because then we're going to speed up.
I did not mean to do that,
though. The thing that slows you down from winning is ego. Like
1000%.
The thing that stops you from passing the ball is ego, or bowing out and saying it's your turn is ego.
I didn't
and so,
do that.
But you still have to have that champion mindset, because it isn't just a big thing. And then the other thing that worked for me was I was like, I need to work with people that I could go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner with this person, because I probably won't be traveling or on the road. That means I like spending time with them, which means I'm happy to coach them, and I'm happy to learn from them.
Exactly.
Whereas if I don't want to, and initially I was like that, I used to just hire people who were great at what they did. We didn't really have chemistry. Like we couldn't hang out, and that wasn't because they were wrong. It was also because I wasn't aware.
Got you.
And then of course, the mission, the purpose.
I just sold so hard, bro.
Because even for you, you're spending time from your family. With, your team becomes your extended family. They
absolutely.
They are your family.
To press that button.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like there's a part of you that you know, it has to feel like I'm getting a little bit of my family here. And if it's not that, you know, it's really hard for me. You know, and
My
obviously,
point guard
like,
is
you know,
usually right
you have
there,
a bigger
bro.
company and there's employees, and you're not going to be as personal with everybody within the company. You know, you're not having breakfast, lunch, or dinner with everybody. but there's a feeling of, you know, I don't mind on a Sunday everybody at my house watching the game, spending time, because that's when, not the 9 to 5 time to be creative or the 9 to 5 time to do the job. That's the extra mile. That's the, oh, I had this idea and I was just thinking, oh, we're looking at something together and this would be great. Those, the best ideas sometimes come from those just hangout moments, and those moments where you're just spending time with people that you work with. So yeah, I think that, yeah, you're right. That's really important.
Yeah, for sure. Before the obsession point that came up, which was fascinating, I'm glad I asked you that, and you went into it. You're talking about, like, you know, you live in an industry, and you talked about social media where people have an opinion of you. People, even an opinion is that people have a lens because they've seen you in a particular light. And I was wondering, like, what do you think something that people get right about you, and what's something that people sometimes get wrong about you? Like, what do you feel like when it comes to that? Like, I'll tell you mine. Like, I feel like, for me, a lot of people think that I get, like, often because of what I teach and what I'm sharing and what I'm guiding, it's like, oh, well, Jay must get everything perfect all the time, and, like, you know, it's like super deep and, like, always just saying profound things, and and that's not true, obviously, because as much as that is who I am and that is my heart, I'm not always like that. Like, I have bad days, I have bad moods, I have off days, I have days when I'm not feeling that way, right? And so that's something that people get wrong about me sometimes in that perception, because but I'm dedicated to this work. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with being better, but that doesn't remove me from having flaws and weaknesses. And so you
should do a blooper reel. you should do a blooper outtake reel of those moments. You have your team catch you in these little moments, and you should put one out. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. I think
I like that. I like that.
That'll be a good one.
I like that.
I think for me is, like, I think I've intentionally stayed out the way so much where I'm not giving anybody anything to go off of other than what I want you to know. You know, I think that's been it for a long time. I've always had the approach of, like, not speaking on things and not giving them life. You know, there's going to be perspectives and there's things about you that just aren't true. Do you care to correct somebody or not? You know, because most of the time people's minds are made up no matter what you say. It is what it's going to be. You know, stay out the comment section. You know what I mean? You get some great entertainment in there, but then you can get a lot of stuff that is just people who want to project the thing that's going to get the most attention. And the issue that I have with a lot of that is they can be completely false. And
they don't even believe it
the industry
most of the time.
We were talking earlier, the lack of journalism, the skill of that will run with those things, knowing that there is no basis to them. But now that's a narrative that's attached to you that you have to be strong enough and strong-minded enough to ignore, knowing it's not true, or this human nature feeling of wanting to know that's not true. I want people to know this about me. And I've always walked on that line of, you know, not caring.
Look, we're first in the league in turnovers per game.
Trying not to care, and knowing that I'm enough, and knowing my truth, and the people who know me. You know, I am about my community and my people, you know, wholeheartedly. And a lot of the choices that I make and the things that I want to do and be a part of is in service of that bigger picture, you know, of helping that, you know, my community in a big way. So I think the biggest thing sometimes if they ever feel
did I miss both,
that they're not my top priority is maybe one of the biggest misconceptions. You know, the love I have for my community, regardless of people's approach, I think everybody has a different strategy and approach to how they affect and make change. Everybody, it doesn't all look the same. And because it may not be typical or the average voice, because the package is different and the craft and my field is different, so I have a different set of boundaries that exist in my lane that I maneuver without, in and out of. Like, I love playing chess. I love strategy. I love I love reverse engineering and building things. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And you know, sometimes ignorance and a laugh or a joke or a like or a thing, we've encouraged the behavior of negativity and things, and loudness is the thing, and that's just not what I'm into.
Yeah,
I'm into the love of things. I'm into the humanity and bringing people together the best way, and also I'm human.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I mean, I also think we've put a false pressure on the definition of authenticity, meaning you share everything with everyone. And I'm not sure I vibe with that definition, because I think authenticity by nature is you sharing what you feel comfortable with each person. Like, that's what it means to be authentic. And you could argue that authentic just means being however you want to be in any given situation. And so I think there has become a false pressure of, oh, you got to show you're authentic by showing every part of yourself. And I don't know if that triggers anything for you. It's like, what's the definition of authenticity for you? Or for me, that's what it is. But what is it for you?
I think it's but then in hindsight, there's a piece of it that, not even just to go back, but there's also like, maybe that's my insecurity framing what the loudness of the things that I'm most sensitive of. Is this noise somehow?
Yeah, it triggers us for a reason.
You know what I'm saying?
There's some stuff that you just go, oh yeah,
whatever. But it's
and
like,
there's some stuff
that's just like, man, like, why does that bother me so much?
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that because I know what that does in the bigger, like, I'm always thinking bigger picture. It's very rarely that I really focus on the thing. It's always about what's the cause of that in the bigger conversation, you know? The authenticity to me is being able to sleep at night, being able to go talk to my mom and knowing that the people that know me, every fiber of my being, my intention, knows my heart through and through, that they see the same person. They're able to connect with the same energy.
We just got Isaiah Thomas.
The same spirit. My energy has never changed. You know, I think being authentic to that frequency is super important to me. No matter where I go,
we just picked up Isaiah Thomas, Phoenix Suns,
and
on a 10-day contract.
Mature and grow up. I want my energy to always feel the same. That's why when you meet certain people and it's been years that go by and you pick right back up where you left off, it feels like no time is lost.
See how that goes.
It's always the same. And I love when people I haven't seen in a long time or come at me like, man, whoa, it feels, it's the same.
Hey, if your partner is being secretive with their phone, you need to do this now. Most people are unaware this simple, yet powerful website exists. If you feel suspicious about a person in your life, you need to do this before it's too late. Just enter their phone number in this app and prepare to be surprised. I wish I knew about this tool sooner, so now I am warning as many people as possible to take my advice.
That just lets me know that I'm not losing myself. I'm not losing track of, who I am.
Yes. And
where I come from. And I am always going to be an agent of change, Trojan horse or not. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, just and continue to lead by example.
Yeah.
I know the path that I'm on isn't easy. Sometimes it may look easy, for the successes or whatever, but it's behind closed doors. I'm doing the work, so the future generations have it a little bit easier, or have a little bit more tools to use, and they can ask for certain things that won't be like what. It'd be almost standard for them, and from my vantage point, I'm able to see a lot of the roadblocks that exist within systems, and paperwork and precedents. I've been chipping away at those where I can in places. And there's so many, look, I say I a lot in this interview. There's so many people out there that are doing that type of work, that exist, men and women in these places that are breaking down barriers, that are chipping away. It's like Shawshank Redemption, rock at a time, gravel at a time, you know. Eventually, that hole's going to be open, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, it's going to be open, but just chipping away. And unfortunately, everybody can't be the loudest one in the room, you know. Sometimes you got to be the quiet guy in the room. You got to listen and look and pay attention and move how you need to move. The chess pieces, they have different rules and different movements for a reason, you know, and they're on the board in different places for a reason. And I know my place on the board.
And I think that's what it comes down to, right? It's like, I appreciate you bringing out that point around how things that trigger us give us somewhere to focus on within ourselves.
For sure.
Like,
I felt like gave it their all, but when it came to OT, it was just all about sheer determination on their part.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks very much, Brad. Looked like you could miss out there tonight. What unleashed this performance?
I'm the best player on the floor. You know, I have to think like that. I have to embrace that. I have to believe that every time I'm out here. Or I'm just selling myself short of my talents. You know, God blessed me with them, so I got to use them. You know, I wasn't utilizing them in the first half, so second half I got back to being aggressive. You know, just go take the game. And that's what I did.
You were the best player on the floor tonight, man. Congrats on the win. Back to you.
If only, if only.
Don't phase me at all, and I can look like the most detached guy, and like I'm bulletproof.
Yeah.
And there's something that gets through that vest. It's just like, and you know, it's because there's a part of it that feels true, and there's a part of you that you've allowed for it to feel true.
It's like the perfect game plan for us, bro. What I just did in this situation right here. This motherfucker had 60. Fuck you. That's the perfect game plan. Look at this. Look at this. First quarter, Devin Booker. It's Devin Booker. Second quarter, it's a mix. Third quarter, it's Bradley Beal. And Kevin Durant, through all this, he can just pick his spots and get this right here. He can just pick his spots and get that right there. 31. He can just pick his spots. 31. 19 shots. That's easy. But if we can just have this attack right here, bro, in real life, second half, Bradley Beal. First half, D-Book and Kevin Durant just picking his spots. It's a planned attack. And they're not playing like scrambling and shit, bro.
That you
but it always comes down to shot making. No cap. This motherfucker has 60, bro. Like what? Like what? Like how?
There's a part of your self-esteem you haven't worked on. There's something you took from your childhood and made true for you, and now when someone else says it and you didn't even know where it came from. But you know, I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about how one of his mentors was letting him down, and we discovered in that, I've been friends with this guy for like 20 years. We're best mates. And it was like 20 years later, we figured out that he'd made his mentor his father figure.
Okay.
And he didn't really put two and two together until just now, and neither did I for him. And he was like, wait a minute, no wonder I'm feeling so much pain with this mentor of mine, because I made him a father figure and gone through that feeling of he's Superman, and now realizing he's not, even though I'm a 40-year-old man for him. And so it's just so interesting how the stuff that gets under our skin, it can just be hidden there, and it gets stale and stuck, and then you don't look at it because you're like, oh no, it's nothing. But at one point when you feel safe enough, you have to kind of like look under the hood and go, you know, why is that there? But coming on to the point you were just making around
workout number 2, bro,
paving the way for others and setting an example and the responsibility that comes with, and like you said, there's so many people doing that. I feel like, how would you define your current purpose? Like, how do you define with
I'm gonna stop it right there. That's perfect. Stop it right there.
I'm gonna stop it right there. That's perfect.
Laker gang, nigga.
What was I about to do? Oh yeah. I ain't even changed this shit. We play at 12 tomorrow. 12 p.m. We play at noon. Already did theirs. It's so hot. Yeah. I'm about to beat their ass by 30. Where's Isaiah Thomas? Is he on a team? He definitely isn't a 70 overall. Hell no. He gotta be on a team.
in the 60s, even the 70s for this time of year. We'll have lots of clear skies, so enjoy the outdoors while we can. We have a string of dry days.
We'll take it. We deserve it after all that rain.
Yes, and then also we might get a little rain next week.
But that's fine, too.
Giving you a heads up.
A little here and there. All right, thanks, Francis, and thank you. That does it for ABC 7 News at 4:30. For Chris and Francis, I'm Karina Nova. We will see you back here at 11. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
He's not, bro. Where is he?
It took 138 iterations to refine the Tiguan chassis, but it also took 189 pizzas and 52 all-nighters. The meticulously refined Tiguan. Get 0% APR financing or a $2,000 customer bonus on a new 2024 Tiguan during the Volkswagen 75th anniversary sales event.
This is Jimmy Butler, and this is Jimmy Butler's butler. Jimmy Butler loves Hulu Plus Live TV.
It's got over 95 live channels.
But Jimmy Butler's butler is old school.
File media social, sir.
He doesn't realize Hulu Plus Live TV is like cable, only better.
Buckets! You get Disney Plus and ESPN Plus all in one plan. Indeed.
Watch live TV like Jimmy Butler.
Where are you going? To cut the cord.
Right now, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S4xe for $329 a month, or get 15% below MSRP on the 2023 Jeep Gladiator 4x4.
If you feel like things don't add up right now, you're not alone. Rent is up, and every family outing costs an arm and a leg. Well, we want to help. So when prices go up, we find new ways to go low. And now, we've lowered the price on hundreds of your favorite products. Designing something beautiful is easy. Designing something beautiful with great quality for a low price, that's a different story. It's why we're here. That's a promise, not a promo. Bet you didn't see that. But if you were an Atlas and could detect things in 0.02 seconds, you would have. The Atlas with Front Assist. Get 1.9% APR financing or a $3,000 customer bonus on a new 2024 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport during the Volkswagen 75th anniversary event.
This is ESPN on ABC.
Tonight, two teams we've
He's not in here,
historically
bro.
known as Western
Well, I
Conference
thought it was
Titans
great. Isaiah
continue
Thomas,
the fight
bro.
for their play-in live here in Los Angeles. The Lakers, they currently hold the 9th seed in the Western Conference, but LeBron and LA, they have just have a single game lead over tonight's foe, the Golden State Warriors, who are getting Steph Curry back this evening after a 3-game absence. The last time we saw Steph versus LeBron, that was that double overtime extravaganza in late January. So what's in store for us tonight now that the stakes have been raised? We are counting you down on ABC.
I'm doing everything I can to put ourselves in position to be championship contenders.
That's God! Curry! I ain't got no ice. Curry knocked it down. LBJ! Got a chip on my shoulder. Take over.
I'm a winner, and I want to win.
What a night for LeBron James. Both plays for your cross. I mean, some really him, I ain't the other.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, delivered by Papa John's.
Hey, welcome to NBA Countdown. We are live from Crypto.com Arena alongside Stephen A. Smith, who clearly got the outfit memo here.
Thank you.
The legendary Michael Wobon.
Purple's as far as I'm going. I'm not sure even if I got the memo. What's going to happen?
What's in your wardrobe, Bob
I don't
Myers?
think so, right.
Well, we do have a game tonight that has major play-in implications between the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll show you exactly what we mean and what is on the line as we check out tonight's key matchups delivered by Papa John. So both the Lakers and the Warriors, they've won 2 2/3 of their games since the start of February. But here's the problem. They haven't made much headway in the standings, right? The Lakers, they've remained in that 9th spot. The Warriors, they've only moved from 12th up to 10th. And the Lakers, they can clinch the critical tiebreaker over the Warriors with a win tonight by taking a 2-1 lead in the season series with one more game to go. But more importantly here, Mr. Wilbon, they clinch the next tiebreaker, the better divisional record, which could come into effect here. And when it's all said and done, these two teams, they seem to be on a crash course, right, to the play-in, to meet there. They have a 55% chance to meet in that 9-10 game. That's according to ESPN Analytics. If that happens, tonight's game, it will go a long way toward deciding who hosts. As we look here at the Western Conference standings, the Lakers, the Warriors, tied in the loss column. They fight to move out of that 9-10 game. They're both just 2 games back in the loss column from Dallas. 3 losses.
Look at the Hall of Fame players in those 4 teams in the bottom. How about that star power for
It's going to be a party in the play-in tournament. There's a lot to be decided in tonight's game. But Mr. Wilbon, who singularly needs it more?
The Lakers. They're at home. If we're just going to split that hair, if that's the tiebreaker, they both need it the same. We see they're in 9th and 10th. The Warriors have played themselves out of 12th, which would have gotten them nothing, as you just pointed out. Okay, so now they're in this 9-10 position. You have to win your games at home. These teams are essentially even. We've got 60-plus games to go on now. It's not a small sample size. You're 9th and 10th. That's what you are. So the Lakers at home need to win this game.
The Lakers do need to win this game. It definitely is the case. They are on their home turf, but I don't think Wilbon was complete in his assertions, because the bottom line is this. They have been a subpar team on the road throughout this entire season. They've got the biggest discrepancy in the league in terms of what they do at home compared to what they do on the road. They've shown you no reason to have faith in them away from Crypto.com arena, even with Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Rui Hachimura and 4 guys averaging over 15 points and shooting better than 44% from three-point range, because they're the 28th ranked team defensively in efficiency since the All-Star break. They get away from Los Angeles, and it's like they forget their responsibilities. So, yes, that makes tonight's game very, very important, because they need to ensure that a matchup between 9 and 10 happens right here at Crypto.com.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go. I'm okay disagreeing with him, but I don't like disagreeing with you. It hurts.
We haven't had that much.
The Warriors need to win this game. If they want any chance of being the 9 seed, they got to win. And the 9 seed matters, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the fact that these 2 teams are playing probably 55% chance against each other to make the playoffs. One of them is going to go home. One of them might get 1 play-in game, and that's it. And these are 2 of the best players that ever played. And so I'm going to appreciate these games. We may not have too many more Steph.
We don't disagree there. Amen to that.
I'm going to appreciate that, but I don't like seeing them 9 and 10. But
that's
what
crazy.
They are.
Either Steph or LeBron's going to miss
Look
the
at
playoffs.
Statistics. The Lakers are 17th in offensive efficiency, 17th in defense. So the Warriors, I think, need this because whatever that one game is, you want to have that game at home.
So what makes it particularly dangerous, Stephen A., is you know who won tonight? The Houston Rockets got a win tonight. And now they've been playing incredibly good basketball as of late. They're just 2.5 games behind Golden State, creeping up on knocking them out of the play-in completely.
Well, Ime Udoka just reminded everybody what a hell of a coach he is. The man can coach the game of basketball. Let's get that out of the way. But when I look at the Los Angeles Lakers getting back to this 9-10 play-in with LeBron and Steph Curry, you know what? Whoever goes home, sayonara. See you. See you next year. I get what they've done for the league. I'm not questioning any of that. What I'm saying is, look at the people who will be in the postseason. Look at Luka. Look at Kevin Durant. Look at Devin Booker. Look at De'Aaron Fox. Look at Anthony Edwards. Look at Jokic.
The fact that he made that is absolutely insane.
Doncic may not make it either. Booker may not.
And I think we got a lot more years for those guys. You know what? We don't have too many more years or playoffs.
And I'm saying we can see that by the way they've been playing this year.
I know they're going home, and you're right. They did this to themselves. Right. These 2 teams did this to themselves, so they got nobody to blame for themselves. As a basketball fan, as a fan of those 2 players, 2 of the best players, I would like to see them both play in the playoffs. But you know what? You got to go earn that. Right. You can't just get that because you're a great individual player.
Bob, without playing each other.
Right.
Because that's sends somebody home.
I mean, somebody's going home.
Well, and to the point of that greatness, tonight is actually the 50th game we have seen Steph Curry face LeBron James in the regular season and the playoffs. So we have gotten this over and over, but we can't take it for granted for years and years to come, because we don't know that that is going to be the case. In the meantime, Draymond Green getting set for this showdown here on ABC. You know that Draymond has defended Anthony Davis more than 1,300 times over the last 10 seasons? That's the most in the NBA during that span, Stephen A.
Very impressive, but you know what? Sabonis is even more. How about that? 10-0 against Anthony Davis. How about that?
Sabonis isn't playing tonight.
We're going to get to that Sacramento game, though. We'll be back right here on ABC.
0-10.
NBA Countdown on ABC is delivered by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Here at Papa John's, we know our stuff.
So try our garlic epic stuffed crust pizza. Made with our iconic garlic sauce flavor. Mixed with cheese and hand stuffed into that Papa John's original dough. No one stuffs the crust like Papa John's.
Under the sun, more than just the sun is shining. Under the sun, a people young in love are finding. Under the sun.
I want to miss you so much. Oh, I just got an online offer from CarMax to sell this mom van. This is the greatest day of my life. Oh, the saddest day of my life.
And done.
Can we just call my dad now? Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Hey, can I get a Virginia? A what? Morning, King. Fine.
Hi, Dad, please.
How'd you spend it? The green one?
What if there was a more intelligent type of fitness?
Big clock. We're going up.
Allen defending. Pass to Richards. Here's Miller. Rebounded by Nurkic. The Suns have got 5 of 7 shots to fall. Here's Allen. That's good. And so Durant with the assist.
Hey, it's all about W's for Durant. I mean, he understands that feedy, open teammates is how you make that happen.
Yo, Kyla.
Hold on. The only density with the 1, 2, 3 with the 50 gifted. 50. Ray J with the 10. Density. Density with the 50. He said 50 gifted, 50 gifted. 50 gifted, 50 gifted. 50 gifted, 50 gifted. 50 gifted, 50 gifted. Oh my fucking God.
You need to make a run. Welcome back to NBA Countdown, delivered by Papa John's.
The Golden State Warriors are expecting to get Steph Curry back in the lineup. Remember, he missed the last 3 games. Bob, have you gotten used to watching it from this side yet, Steph's warm-up?
No, you never get tired of this. This guy's, people, you see how many people show up for his warm-up?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible this many years in, and the stands are still packed to see Steph just warm up. But it's time now for Pick and Roll, brought to you by ESPN Bet, the official sports book of ESPN. We've talked, Stephen A., about the importance of this game. So who you got in this one?
I've got the Lakers in this particular game simply because Steph Curry is coming back. I think there's some rust there. I think you got to work your way back to it, even though it's just 3 games that he's been out. The bottom line is that right ankle injury is significant. It's something that does matter. So I'm watching it from that vantage point, considering that and the importance of this game for the Los Angeles Lakers. D'Angelo Russell, I'm keeping my eyes on him for a multitude of reasons that we'll get in before the show's over. I'm going to pick the Lakers tonight.
All right.
Even if I don't call it rust, there is some bounce back needed for even than the great Steph Curry. And that can take, who knows, even if it takes a quarter.
5 minutes.
That can be longer. 5 minutes. That could be the difference in the game. Remember how close the last game was? I expect the same thing. I'm going to take the Lakers in overtime. LeBron still can just take over the segments of the game. Even if he's not doing it for 40-plus anymore, he can do it when it matters enough to give his team an edge. And I think at home, knowing the urgency and having a feel for that, I think the Lakers win in overtime, Bob.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to get into how it happens, but we know who's going to win the game. It's not going to be that team that you two picked. But you know what's great about this game is that we're going to see a playoff-type effort. And I wish I could tell the audience that we see that every night from NBA players. Tonight you're going to see it. Both these teams know what's on the line.
Right.
Both these teams understand what is at stake here, and that they're going to show up and play that way. And that's why I'm excited about this game, and that's why I think the Warriors are going to.
Well, I got to give credit where credit is due. I don't think we're going to see that tonight because of the importance of the game. I think we're going to see that tonight because two treasures, two superstars in this game, LeBron James and Steph Curry, have religiously stepped up in moments and provided us with more moments than we ever imagined.
Absolutely.
Just because they're going against each other,
Right.
is what they're going to do.
And Rui Hachimura has said the playoffs start now for the Los Angeles Lakers. Hey, we got a new photo here because ESPN Bet is live in North Carolina. Where was the picture?
Where was the Perkins? They want people to start winning money. That's why they put me on there. They want people to start winning money.
ESPN. It's the only place to find promotions from your favorite shows and personalities like Stephen A. Smith. New users in North Carolina get $200 in bonus bets for making any sportsbook bet. You can download today, North Carolina. LeBron James getting set for our showdown tonight here on ABC. You know that he's averaging just over 25 points this season, the most in a player's 21st or 22nd.
You know what? I have more important news than LeBron James right now.
What?
I actually look better than that photo show. I think that's the important thing to point out. I actually look better than that photo show. It's true. Okay. I just want to say
That goes on. So.
Yo, y'all didn't see me naked, chat? I don't sleep naked, bro. I don't sleep naked, my nigga. I go shorts. I go shorts, bro. I go shorts. I go mesh shorts.
Sometimes my balls are just out. You feel me? I ain't trying to violate y'all, so I'm finna get some clothes on for y'all. And what I do next might surprise y'all. No, I don't go for my phone. Make sure I'm looking okay, decent.
Glasses. You gonna go for his glasses. You gonna go for his glasses.
As you can see.
You gonna go for his glasses, chat.
I then sit down and start working on my novel that I'm writing.
Nigga,
yes, I'm working on a novel.
You didn't brush your teeth?
May or may not know, but I'm an author. I'm an author. As you can see, I'm writing on my novel. I'm on page 568 out of, I'm trying to get to 1,000 pages. I started writing this book 2 days ago, this specific book. But as you can see, it's a lot of focus, a lot of brain work, a lot of hard writing here.
What made him wake up and do this?
And the next thing I do is I go outside. I go photosynthesize. A lot of people don't know that we as humans, we do photosynthesis, just like them plants. A lot of people don't know that. And it's a great source of vitamin D. So go out there and get your sun. Get that melanin popping. And yeah, be the best version of yourself. I then teleport from outside to the couch because I'm working on something that I can't really speak on, but it is research. Yeah, so I'm really trying to see if my hypothesis was correct. I'm conducting studies, and I'm really looking over my findings as of right now. That's the stage I'm in right now.
Nigga, where is your
groundbreaking stuff? I cannot leak anything right now, but just know the change is coming.
The what?
I then sent somebody at the door, though. To my chagrin, Mr. Mosby pulled up with some edible arrangements. So they got some fruits and stuff, complimentary from the front desk. how nice of him. I fuck with Mr. Mosby, that's my dog. It's a real ass nigga right there.
Mr. Mosby.
Mr. Joshua in the building. You feel me?
Yeah.
Mr. Mosby came in clutch.
Yo, why do those look so good? What the fuck?
The oranges look like they got eggs or some shit.
Nah, the grapes look tough.
I don't know what that is.
Grapes looks tough. Yo, Ray J with the 10 gifted. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted. Once again, you are fucking golden, bro.
Man, what the hell even is that?
Those
like
bus.
Krabby Patty or some shit? What the fuck?
Those bus.
You know, you know how we coming.
Azul.
So this place actually has a lot of mirrors. So I walk in, sit down, look at myself a little bit because I was.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Not on no conceited shit, chat. Not on no conceited shit. But I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Mirrors are probably gonna go to the top 10 greatest inventions, bro. Bro, imagine us niggas with no mirrors, bro. Yo, mirrors are actually comp, my nigga. Like, dead ass, bro.
I want you to look at your.
I wonder what is like the top 10. I wonder what's the top 10 greatest inventions are. I wonder though.
Myself in this place. Another mirror right here. I sit down and I start plotting, start planning.
Beds, music,
think about what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day.
Electronics.
Gotta get a lot of work done. Had to blow my nose. Got the tissue.
The Duke just get
I know you see that tissue fall. I'm a good citizen. I don't litter. I ain't gonna leave it there. I'm clean. Just really.
You gotta start saying things like Kai. You gotta just start saying like
the rest of my day for real.
Kai.
And you already know the next step. Time for the bathroom. Favorite part of the day. First thing I do is brush my teeth.
About fucking time, nigga. The fuck?
See, I'm brushing my teeth right now. I like to go up, make sure you don't forget your tongue, get your molars, get all around your teeth. Me, even after I brush my teeth, I like to use some Listerine. I love Listerine. As you can see, it's almost finished. I use this shit every day.
I thought Listerine was some freaky shit. I don't know why. Like, the name was Listerine. Like, why is it called Listerine, my nigga? Like, bro, what the fuck? I used to think it was called some freaky. I thought it was some freaky shit.
The stake, or was at stake, but yeah, no, I didn't switch anything up knowing that now.
Stephen A., your reaction, sir?
That's embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself. And I'm nobody else don't say it, I'm gonna say it. That is inexcusable. You're a guard on this team. We know how much of a liability you are on the defensive side of the ball. They rely on your offense. You're not gonna always have it. I get that. It's not about the points. It's not about the lack of offensive production in those two games. It's about the fact that you sat up there in front of a microphone with the cameras rolling and talking about you didn't know what was at stake, knowing that the play-in, your position in the play-in tournament is at stake. Yes, LeBron's the leader. Yes, Anthony Davis is the star. But last time I checked with this team, they're 0-5 when D'Angelo Russell is not on the court. They're 3-7 when he's on the court and scores 10 points or less. You need this man. You need him all in. And what we're seeing there is a level of inconsistency that we saw in the playoffs, where he was AWOL, was an APB out. I called police in L.A. looking for him. Nobody could find his behind because he wouldn't show up against the Denver Nuggets. And to say something like that on national with the cameras rolling, it is shameful. It is shameful. You cannot make that mistake. You can't do it.
If we were going to be very, very nice, we would say at least he was honest. But you know what? You're right, Stephen A. Every game there's something at stake for this Lakers team and this Warrior team. These two teams right behind us. Every single Lakers have a 4% chance of getting out of the play-in, meaning they get to the 6th seed. What the Warriors is 1%. Wow. Every single game from here on out, something's at stake. So if they ask anybody after this game, do you know what's at stake? Yeah, all these games there's something at stake. But you know what? You said it a little more harsh, but you're right. You got to understand.
I don't care what D'Angelo Russell says. I want to see him play. Stephen A. and I live in different worlds when it comes to what players are saying. We do. I want to see him play. The stat you mentioned is important. They need him on the court, and they need him more consistent. By the way, if you're not a top 3, an all-NBA player, 5, 10, or 15, chances are you're not going to be that consistent. You're not going to be a starter right now. We need to see D'Angelo Russell contribute. I don't care what he says after the game. That doesn't make me want to win. Yeah, it is.
You might not care what he said about that. What he said, but what did he had 6 points.
Again, play.
Then he said that.
Play.
So altogether, he goes 30 points.
I want to see performance. Well, he didn't do either. It's irrelevant.
I can't believe I'm going to get on my man Mike Wilbon for being disingenuous, but I'm going to look into the camera and look at my man Tony. I'm going to look at my man Tony Kornheiser for helping us. You know how many, long before he was sitting there breaking records and being exceptional on national television, Michael Wilbon was also exceptional with a column, all right, in the Washington Post. And you know what he used to do? He used to watch a performance, listen to what you said, and then turn around and say, that's why you played that way. But suddenly, that don't care.
Everybody's not the same, Stephen A. He's not Anthony Davis. He's not LeBron. The words aren't equal. So everything's not a big deal. Every single topic is not the end of the world.
I say every single topic.
What you did, what we agree on,
okay,
he has got to perform in the way you said.
That's right.
I don't care what he says after the game.
But after the game, what he said, in my mind, contributes to why he possibly performed that way.
I'm not making that connection.
If you're not cognizant of what the hell is going on, what position you're in, what's going to happen.
You mean what you're saying? You can't mean what you say a little bit.
Let me tell you something, Bob. If we looked and assessed what Anthony Davis or LeBron James said, if this was Draymond, Steph, or Clay, if this was Kevin Durant or Booker, sorry. So I'm not going to, it's not that relevant.
You can't average 22. You can't average 22 points.
Words and deeds,
22 points, 45% shoot for 3-point range.
Words
and you're going to tell me he's going to sit up there and say, I had no position. I had no idea about this. It don't matter. Come on, man.
This is also coinciding with a couple of things. D'Angelo Russell has been very vocal over the last couple of games, talking about his communication lacking with Darvin Ham in last year's playoffs, blaming other players for that. And so when you take all of that into consideration, knowing how much they need from D'Lo, I think is where Stephen A. is coming from, which is a compliment to D'Angelo. They need him to play like Stephen A. knows.
What's the over-under tonight for D'Angelo?
We'll find out in the break. NBA Countdown will be right back.
The Suns on offense, stringing it together. They've got an 11-2 run going. Here's Durant.
Yo, Mr. Beast, I got a proposal, bro. I asked him once, and he said okay. I asked him once, and he said I could do it. But I think it's been so long that
oh my God. Bradley and Bill.
Mr. Beast, let me take your credit card to the Bronx, bro. And I'll match the amount I spend. I think that shit is actually tough. Yo, let me take your credit card to the Bronx. I feel like that would actually be so tough, bro. That's a fire video, bro. Like no cap.
$1,000 on supplies.
And I literally I'll match it, whatever. No, why would it be a riot? Nobody said nothing about a meetup, bro. I would literally just like, I can go to hospitals. I can go to kids with disabilities that need shit, like that want like whatever they want. Like I can do all types of shit like that. You feel me? I can put it into schools. I can do so much shit, bro. You feel me?
And since I don't want to bore you with all that, let's just skip to the part when everything was delivered. His first round of supplies are starting to show up.
Oh my god, I can't believe I bought all this stuff and this isn't even everything, man.
He's got a water truck. Some of his junk cars came in. He's got a Connex crate over here.
How did he get this much stuff?
This is crazy. Don't worry about the guys with the machine guns. Just pretend they're not there.
Yeah. I don't even know what they're doing there, honestly.
We're 5 hours in, and this storage container is about to be the first line of defense against 10,000 bullets.
All right, that's probably good. That's probably good.
Do you think that shipping container is going to stop any bullets?
Absolutely not.
So as of now, he's screwed.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
Oh, gosh. It's been about 6 hours. Are you happy with the progress? I'm very happy. You sure?
It wasn't until this thing got down, but now that it's down, dude, I feel really good.
I asked them if this would stop the bullets, and they said no. And once Blake realized he had to go all out, he worked not only through the night.
This way, Mr. Railroad Ties.
Nice, yes.
Nah, I think he's
really
good.
nice, really nice.
Good.
But even into the next morning, upgrading his defense.
Bro, I think he's good,
Dude, he's stuffed in the storage container with a van and a giant tube. And once I saw him put together, I was honestly pretty impressed.
Run me through what you built. So I built a whole bunch of concrete in the front. And the tallest part of the wall is right in the center to block the crow's nest machine guns because those things are big and scary. I got all my storage containers and a bunch of water.
And if you come right over here, you will see his Lamborghini tucked
the third most in the NBA and the most in a season in his career. He struggles for whatever reason with that Sabonis matchup, looking to bounce back tonight and get back in the win column. But the thing is, we always assume LeBron and Steph will be staples of the playoffs, right? We've come to just expect that they will be playing there. The last time that we did not see LeBron James and Steph Curry in the playoffs, it was 2004-2005 season. But looking at the standings, there is a chance, really, that can happen again. What is at stake for LeBron and Steph this season, Stephen?
Well, for me personally, I just look at LeBron James and I say not much, only that time is running out. You know, he doesn't have but so many more of these left. One could argue about that with Steph Curry, but I look at the Golden State Warriors of being able to tweak something here or there, and that would be that. I think the Lakers need a little bit more than that, and obviously LeBron James is entering his 22nd season next year, so I think there's more at stake for him.
What Bob said earlier, to me, cuts right to it. I don't want to see basketball in the spring without the two of them. The two of them, that's why you watch. That's why we watched for 20 years with LeBron and 15 with Steph. It's hard to imagine them not being in it. Yet we knew coming into this season, and we all said every week, the Western Conference is so good, really great players going to be left out. That last graphic we saw, which could include the Suns and the Mavericks in addition to Golden State and Lakers. How many Hall of Famers could we lose before you get to the playoffs? It's unthinkable, but it speaks to how just tough the Western Conference is night after night all season.
Yeah, it means we miss out, right? It means we all miss out because these are two of the best players that ever played. And you know what, and it's probably going to happen. That's probably, one of them is probably not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you know what, when I think of these two guys, and I've thought about this, you know what I wish? I wish we could have seen them play on the same team.
LeBron and Steph.
Yes, because you know why? They're perfect complements to each other. Forget that they're mega stars and the most popular players in the NBA. Curry and LeBron, more than anybody understands, complement each other on the basketball court. LeBron is the point forward, one of the best passers ever, and Curry moving off the ball. We're probably not going to get to see it.
Well, damn it.
And you would be upset if it happened.
That's life. One of them got to go. You understand what I'm saying? Actually, both of them could be gone. They had 82 games to make sure we didn't have to worry about that.
That's what we're doing for us here on NBA Countdown. On behalf of my twin and these fellas and I, sending it over to Mike Breen.
Malika, the regular season ends in less than a month. LeBron James and the Lakers right now, 9th place in the West with 15 games to play. And tonight going up against a fellow legend, Steph Curry and the Warriors, 1 game behind the Lakers. They're 10th in the West. Can these two icons carry their team to some kind of playoff success? And good evening, everyone, with J.J. Redick and Doris Burke. Mike Green on hand. Lisa Salter is with us as well. This is the 50th meeting between these two legends. 22 of them came in the NBA Finals. Now, tonight the stakes are a little less. It's for play-in positioning. But make no mistake about it. This is an important game for both these teams. Let's start with Golden State and Steph Curry. Still, most nights you can see the spectacular. And for them to get where they want to go, that has to continue.
Well, prior to Steph Curry missing the past few games, he had really struggled by his lofty standards over the last 10 games played. You'll see the numbers here at the bottom of the screen. Only 20 points per game, 37% from the field, 33% from three. We can talk about the emergence of Jonathan Kuminga, the contributions from their excellent rookies, but for the Warriors to make a run here for the rest of the regular season and into the postseason, they need Steph Curry to be Steph Curry.
And with more on Curry, let's say hello to Lisa Salters. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, Steph Curry back on the floor tonight after missing the last 3 games because of a right ankle sprain. He got hurt in the fourth quarter of the Warriors' loss against the Bulls back on March 7th. Curry spent time with the organization's G League team in the Bay Area this week trying to rehab his way back while the rest of the team was on this road trip. He rejoined the Warriors here in Los Angeles just yesterday. He told me he still feels the sprain a little bit and that it's probably not going to be 100% for the rest of this season, but he said it feels good enough for him to play. He will not be under any kind of minutes restriction. He said he was not about to miss this one, Mike.
All right, Lisa. Same thing for LeBron James. He was questionable with an ankle injury, but he's going to be in the lineup. He's still dominating. He's still putting up remarkable numbers almost every single night, but he's doing it a little bit differently.
Still imposing his will, Mike, but perhaps picking those times and places a little bit more carefully. First and foremost, he's out in transition a ton. He trails only Giannis Antetokounmpo in his 21st year in fast break points. The Lakers, when they play with pace and are going downhill, they can feel formidable because of their size. He remains one of the elite athletes. Has he dipped a little bit in that regard? Just a touch, but you still got to send bodies at him. But the Lakers as a team, Mike, and LeBron specifically over the last couple of months, particularly from the left side of the floor as a three-point shooter, look out.
It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. That means we're getting closer to the playoffs. Of course, there's always a playoff atmosphere in the courts in Santa Monica. Warriors and Lakers for the third time this season. That's coming up next.
NBA Saturday Primetime on ABC is presented by Wingstop. Bring the flavor. This presentation of NBA Saturday Primetime, presented by Wingstop, will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
A little bit of bubble wrap left. I think I'm just going to get raised on this thing and just wrap my baby up in this bubble wrap, and I'm good to go.
That's definitely going to help.
Blake spent what little time he had remaining on this crane, failing at trying to bubble wrap his car.
It's just not going to work.
You know what time it is? What? Time to drop the car. Let's drop this bad boy. The failed bubble wrap makes it look majestic. Blake, do you think your Lamborghini will survive?
I'm positive, Jimmy.
He's more certain than me.
I'm positive about this one. I bought every air mattress at Walmart. If this won't catch it, I don't know what will. I did everything I can.
Here's a Feastables bar, Blake.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
You know, that way, even if you lose the car, at least you have some good chocolate. It's available in Walmart. Be sure to go try our new chocolate bar. I'm so curious what you think. But anyways, you have 3 bouncy castles, 150 mattresses, how many pillows?
150.
150 pillows, and 2,000 cardboard boxes. Will it break the Lamborghini's fall?
Yes. Yes.
That's 2 yeses.
Okay.
24 hours of work, down to this. No pun intended.
3, 2, 1, drop the Lamborghini!
Hey, that shit went straight through that bitch. It didn't do shit. What the fuck?
No. Out of my way.
That did not sound good.
Please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay.
All right, he's moving the Connex crate out the way.
There's no way you got that Lambo.
Get these boxes out of the way.
Oh. What?
We're about to find out how damaged this car is. The lights work.
Ooh, the lights work.
Wait, yeah, this Princess Castle might have saved this entire car.
Moment of truth. You might have been the first person in history to catch a Lamborghini.
If it turns on.
All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, it works! I can't believe it! Yes! That's what I'm talking about! Everything looks good, minus a little crack in the bumper, which we found out by this official appraiser. This was only going to reduce the price of Blake's Lamborghini by
probably 10 grand.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the good news.
And now is the perfect time to mention that Phase 3 is flaming cars. For Blake's next challenge, we're bringing back his biggest nightmare. We have recreated the Flaming Cars challenge that cost Blake everything last time.
Wow.
That's a low blow.
But seeing how he's done this before, we're gonna up the stakes by dropping twice as many cars as last time.
Oh my gosh.
I got a lot to prove. Redemption Day!
Blake spent the rest of the night disassembling his defense for Phase 2. And after a good night of sleep, he was ready to begin his defense for Phase 3.
It's 8 in the morning, just woke up. We got a lot of work to do today, so let's get started.
Here's the day 3 plan. I'm gonna cut the bottom out of a shipping container, and I'm gonna drop it right on the car. He's cooking. He might have read the comments from the last time. He had to. There's no way he just started off. Bro, he's cooking. Hold on. Next, I'm gonna take 2 more containers and I'm gonna lean them up, coming to a point. Oh my God, he's actually cooking. Right above the car, and most importantly, nothing flammable this time.
Do you think that'll deflect the car?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say no. Blake then asked his crew to remove every piece of wood that was in the container, because that's what ended his challenge last.
Is that Ray's ringtone?
He then had them cut out the bottom of the container that would surround the Lamborghini.
The storage container could put a lot of damage. Completely crush it? Yeah. You can? I mean, that thing weighs a whole lot.
And with that being done, Blake just needs to lower the container carefully over the Lamborghini without damaging.
One scratch could cost him thousands of dollars. You're good, just like that. It is so close to scraping the car. Watch your fingers, we're coming down. Yes!
I can't believe that!
Alright, next we're gonna bring these containers together to form a V.
What if the car gets caught in there?
Yeah, that can't happen, dude. That's why we're putting this pointy thing at the top.
Do you think that will actually deflect their car?
100%.
20 minutes remain, and then we see if that Lamborghini perishes, just like his 500 grand. And as usual, Blake utilized every last second. 3, 2, 1. Not quite sure what that dirt accomplished. Time is up.
No.
Let's see if, unlike last time, you survive Phase 3.
Redemption.
Blake,
Yeah,
you
he got
lost
it.
I just want to know one thing. Did you put wood
by a Wingstop? Here in Los Angeles, beautiful scenery, beautiful weather, beautiful people, and the playoffs are on the horizon. As we get set for 2 of the all-time legends squaring off once again here in LA. And an enormous game for both teams as they try and prove that they can be more than just playing games. As right now, that's where they're at. The Lakers at number 9, the Warriors at number 10, just 1 game back. And again, the Lakers only 15 games remaining. Meanwhile, let's listen to the players mic'd up for tonight's game.
Hey, fellas, I'm Sammy the Bull, too. I'm mic'd up. Don't be nervous, you're fine. Don't be nervous. Right, what up? Tell your man get a haircut. You trying to look like my son out here. When we play, they gonna try to strong me. I'ma attack it.
Well, the good thing, both guys are very chatty. And that'll happen all game long. I like the little weather wishes for the anthem singer. That was very kind of him to do prior to the game. You look at the starting lineups delivered by Taco Bell. And this is a starting 5 that has done well for Steve Kerr with a rookie for Jamsky in there with the veterans. And, of course, Kuminga, the other youngster. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, this is a starting 5 that has been just superb offensively for Darvin Ham, led by LeBron James. As these teams set to play once again. They've been playing a lot of basketball against each other over the past 13 months. Playoffs last year, a bunch of preseason games. And this will be the 3rd meeting of the season between the 2. They split the first 2, so not only trying to advance to get a better playoff positioning, but getting some tiebreakers as well. And what's interesting, Taurus, is how you have some teams, they're just battling to get in the play-in. A lot of teams battling to make sure they don't get in the play-in and get in the top 6, and then everybody wants the traditional home court advantage.
And this is a massive game, Mike. If the standings stick, one of these 2 teams is staring at having to win 2 road elimination games just to get into the playoffs and face whoever ends up 1 seed in the West. And you got to hope that you're somebody that that it's maybe the younger Oklahoma City team as opposed to the more experienced Denver team, though I wouldn't want either one of them.
Well, it has made the last couple of years, the last month of the regular season, so many meaningful games, night in and night out, at the top of the standings, and even at the bottom of the standings. Wiggins guarding James. Curry is on Reeves. Little two-man game. Curry fights over the screen. 5 on the 24. Reeves launches it.
Oh, my goodness.
He's just been shooting lights out recently.
And they went right away to that matchup. LeBron James trying to get the switch to get Steph Curry on him, and Reeves just hit the tough shot.
Wiggins with a nice shot in the paint. Drops that down. Warriors are a better road team, at least their record better on the road. They're 17-14 away from the Chase Center. Meanwhile, the Lakers have been excellent at home all season. They're 24-11. Curry and James again. This time James puts it on the floor, drives, cross-court pass. Hachimura at three-pointer won't go. Lakers have been shooting so well from three-point range recently. With an over 40% the last 6 games. And they've been the best three-point shooting team over the last couple of months. As Kuminga misses that. Podziemski the rebound. Curry his first shot tonight. Reeves and Hachimura both playing well as Podziemski bumps Reeves out of bounds. Lakers losing Wednesday night to Sacramento, now 0-4 against the Kings. So looking to bounce back here tonight. Pass inside. Russell flips it up with a little English. Nice pass. Nice shot. And an offensive foul. So Draymond Green, a moving screen.
When D'Angelo Russell scores, this team feels differently. This is one of his gifts. Around the rim, he could finish left or right. In that Sacramento game, they got virtually nothing from him scoring-wise. Rui and Reeves carried him in the first half, but he's got to give them scoring.
He has been on an excellent stretch. Some of the best basketball of his career, but
he's so solid, like, all around.
And he struggled. Of course, the playoffs coming up. As Davis misses that one. Green, the rebound, looks to push. Green inside, and Wiggins with the left hand. Second effort, tip is good. Was so important, JJ, if they get Wiggins going.
Oh, he has completely turned his season around. Really struggled early this season, particularly shooting the basketball. There were moments where you wondered about his confidence. D'Angelo Russell, of course, not lacking for confidence as he banks that shot in. But Wiggins now in a really good place, shooting the ball, offensively knowing his role.
Kuminga with a three-pointer. Kuminga shooting just 32% from downtown, but he's been doing so many other things well. And the game tied up early. Reeves off the bounce. Baseline pull-up shot is good. This has been an amazing offensive stretch for the Los Angeles Lakers. Last 2 months, #1 in scoring, #1 in field goal percentage as Curry kicks it out. Kuminga now off the bounce. Nice confident jumper from Kuminga.
Well, when he got the first three to go, we think of him as an attacking, off the bounce, get to the rack kind of guy. But once that first three goes, I think he thinks that jumper's cooking.
If he ever gets that on a consistent level, he'd be one of those guys just so difficult to guard. James falling away on the baseline. His first jumper, and the Lakers hit 5 of their first 7 from the field. Curry sees an opening, drives inside, whips it out, and throws it to Kuminga. Beautiful pass, and Kuminga this perimeter game.
Well, if he ever develops a consistent jump shot, he's going to be one of them once.
Ball deflected out of bounds. And the Lakers will still have it 11 to shoot.
And how about the look by Steph Curry? And Austin Reeves has got the initial assignment. He draws basically 3. So concerned with Steph Curry, are you? And the pass is perfectly placed.
Curry a couple assists early going. Kuminga with 8 of their 12 points off the turnover. Curry finds Kuminga. Now drives inside the sidestep. Back up top. Wiggins wide open. That's good. Boy, both teams red hot to start. Kuminga and Wiggins have all 15 of the Warrior points. Draymond Green, the undersized center, against Anthony Davis, makes him take a tough shot. Bajemski. Green looking, pointing. Kuminga with 6 to shoot, back up top. Draymond Green was shooting a career high from 3 this year. At that time, Davis the rebound. JJ, with a matchup like this, I mean, Draymond Green, everyone knows, one of the elite defenders really who's ever played. Anthony Davis has the huge height advantage. Will the Lakers just keep going at Davis because of that mismatch in terms of height?
Look, he's going to post up a lot regardless of the matchup because he's one of the most high-frequency post-up players.
Oh, my goodness.
Jonathan Kuminga can't miss right now. It's a matchup we're going to watch all night, Mike, because Draymond Green is not going to let up on Anthony Davis.
That's a goaltending as the ball hit the backboard. So 2 points for LeBron James. Two teams are combined shooting 13 of 21. Curry. Deflected, stolen by Davis, and here comes Reeves. Reeves plenty of time, sets, can't get it to go. Green with the rebound. James guarding Curry. Shot clock down to 7. Lob it into Kuminga. And right there, Davis didn't get it, but perhaps altered it as Kuminga couldn't finish.
But he's so far dropping off of Draymond Green that his close to challenge the shot is a lot shorter.
Wiggins, an excellent defender. Big part of that 2022 championship was his defense. Curry with the steal as James turns it over. Both teams with a couple of early turnovers. Bajemski changes direction and shut off by James.
And wisely changed his mind with LeBron in front of him.
And a kick ball. And we'll have our first time out. Some pretty good offense here in the first 6.5 minutes.
Don't miss X-Men 97, only on Disney+.
Get this done by working together as a team.
G-Stop.
I love you, man.
Your money. Stadium.
Have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Suns. Well, picking all the low-hanging fruit. Defenses these days want to concede the mid-range, and they're happy to take it. And they've also been ferocious inside, really taking advantage in the painted area and making good on those chances. First one falls for them, and they've done well from the free throw line this half. No misses yet.
KO Chris with the 25 fucking gifted, you fucking goat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, KO Chris. Y'all snapping, boy. Y'all snapping, boy. Oh my gosh, man. Dang, bro. How much would you twerk for? Bro, shut your dumb ass up, boy. Slump God with the 10 gifted. Thank you so much, Slump God 45.
You got to choose my plan. Yes, we don't make you sign up for the top tier plan to get.
Appreciate it. Where's it at, chat? Where's it at? Oh, is it this one? Oh my God. How do you do? Okay, man. KO Chris with another 25 freaking. KO Chris with the 25 fucking gifted. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
To beat Wisconsin in the Sweet 16. From 2015 to 2018, they faced each other in 4 consecutive NBA Finals. Golden State won 3 of those. And last season, the Lakers beat the Warriors 4-2 in the second round of the playoffs. Tonight, it's the 50th meeting between the two, including the regular season and playoffs. Mike?
All right, Lisa. And you know, all the individual accomplishments, all the individual honors and records, the greatest joy for both of them. That's another 3-pointer goes down. It's time for James. The greatest joy for both of them has been their team success. That's what their whole career has been about. Klay Thompson in the game, as is Gary Payton and Trace Jackson Davis. Payton, his first shot is good. And both teams shooting well from 3-point range. The Warriors up by 2. Problem with the clock, so officials check it out. Well, we don't know how many more times that these two will play against each other in their NBA careers, hopefully for a while longer. The last matchup was quite the game. James had a 36-20 in that double overtime game. This is the 50th time they'll face each other. We said at the top of the telecast, 22 of those games are in the NBA Finals. James tries another 3. That's good. LeBron James back-to-back threes.
Back-to-back on the left side. That has been a hot spot for him all year.
Kuminga goes inside. Good defense from Hachimura. James with the steal. Davis throws it ahead to Reeves. Again, this starting 5 offensively has been excellent. Getting some good defense here in the early going. Hachimura on a beautiful pass from Reeves. Curry's only taken 1 shot so far. That one off the mark. James grabs it. Nearly stolen by Payton. Reeves throws it up. Alley-oop. Tough catch, but Davis gets it. Davis now guarded by Kuminga. Hachimura puts it on the ground and gets to the rim. Timeout call by Steve Kerr.
World, I wonder why I pop perks and do pearls and maybe just take the Addy and focus. 3 things in my mind right now: the sex, love, ecstasy, the best of. 3 things in my mind right now: the sex, love, good sex, love, good sex, love, no flex, love, all phone calls, no text, love, can be caught up, situations brought up, daily I've been fucked up, so how what the fuck, bruh, hey, hey, we know another question.
Big boy, come pick up. Why you just hung up?
It's hauled in by the SUNS. Durant's got 4 rebounds in the game. And it's out of bounds.
Yo! Yo, broski.
A chance to check out the Phoenix Suns' upcoming schedule. On Sunday,
Yes.
they'll take on Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Then on Wednesday, they'll be playing against Joel.
You want to do a 2-man E-Day?
Philadelphia 76ers.
You want to do a 2-man E-Day? You gotta I gotta hit Lacey up, and we gotta schedule a day then. Right now? You got girls on standby right now. Who you got? Who are those people? No. They are? I have to put them in the Discord. Send me your Discord. Oh my gosh! KO the 10 gifted. Thank you so much, KO. That's what the 10 gifted. What you mean you don't know how to do it? From 1 to 10, how good they look? what's it called? So figure out how to do the Discord first then. And then text me your shit. Your Discord username. I do? Yes. Oh, I bet so. Yeah, just set it up then. So just drag him in the room, and I'm gonna call you. Okay, brother. All right, brother. This nigga's stupid as fuck. Yeah. That's fine, bro. Celebrate though to get frisky.
You got to close to their chest. Right now, LeBron James is a hot guy on the scouting report. Warriors got to do a better job of closing out.
44% from three since the All-Star break as Klay Thompson off the bench gets his first bucket. By the way, it took James only 8 minutes to continue his double-figure streak. Now has scored in double figures 1,210 consecutive games. Davis draws the foul. And will shoot free throws. Gary Payton picks up his first try to help up on the double team. Upcoming national TV schedule Monday on ESPN. Heat and Sixers from Philly. The Warriors will be at home against the Knicks. And then Tuesday NBA TV Nuggets and the Timberwolves.
I thought Austin Reeves before the game told us something really interesting about Anthony Davis. So often we make a big deal of his shooting numbers or his scoring numbers. Austin Reeves said, to me, Anthony Davis can't have a bad game because of everything he does for us defensively. And it's a lot of stuff that doesn't show up on the box score. He's a detriment to other teams' offenses.
Never heard it phrased that way. And as somebody who obviously watches every second and is a part of it, I thought that's a great compliment.
We've already seen it tonight, Mike. His communication level, his presence in the paint, his ability to close on another man's assignment and get a shot block.
He's a big-time scorer who's a defense-first player. Chris Paul in. Pajemski left wide open. If he can't get it to go, Davis with the rebound. 5-point Laker lead. Just under 3 to play in the first. Davis goes right at the rookie. Lays it up and in. Jackson Davis was right with him. And Anthony Davis took a bit of a shot, slow getting up. Got hit in the face. Klay Thompson off the bench with his second straight jumper to go down. And Davis still at eye bottom, the left eye apparently. He took a shot there. Russell finds Davis. Chris Paul tips it out right to Russell. Prince lines it up and knocks down the three. That's 4 of 6 from three-point range.
Mike, you were talking earlier about the offensive turnaround for the Lakers and the shooting numbers for each guy across the board, whether it's D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Hachimura, LeBron, as we talked about, Taurean Prince at 38% from three. This is an excellent shooting team.
44 games. Last 44 games, the Lakers as a team from three-point territory, 39.5%, JJ. To your point.
Is it just something that the shots are going down, or would they do something different?
I think it's about a couple of things, Mike. First and foremost, Anthony Davis has doubled the second most anytime he's on a post touch. They have size and spacing. You still have the LeBron attack. There are a number of things that go into it.
Chris Paul with his first bucket. Warriors pull within 5. D'Angelo Russell throws it up, wild shot. Pretty good pass, though, as Davis catches and puts it back up and in. Now, they did not count that as an assist, but Russell does have 4 assists. Klay Thompson hot off the bench. 3 for 4 from the field, 8 points in 4 minutes.
How many times have we seen him in this building have a hot shooting night? Klay Thompson with a blistering start here for the Golden State Warriors.
Always likes to come in L.A., where his dad won a couple of championships with the Lakers. Prince throws it up. Jackson Hayes has a foul. Prince with a perfect pass, and Hayes a chance for a three-point play. Davis, meanwhile, that eye is still bothering him.
So JJ likes to call this lurking on the baseline. Watch the right side of your screen. Off the pick and roll, he gets behind the defense. Wouldn't it be nice to have those hops? Watch how high Jackson Hayes gets up. That is big-time athleticism.
I played with Jackson Hayes his rookie year, my first year in New Orleans. And we developed a nice little pick and roll chemistry, little two-man action. The thing I loved about it, I could throw him the pocket pass, but I could also just throw it anywhere near the rim, and he'd probably go get it.
Hayes been kind of in and out of the rotation. No Christian Wood, he's still out. So Hayes getting some early minutes once again. Shot clock at 6. Wiggins gets in the paint. Shot rolls around, won't go. Davis and Wiggins fighting. Wiggins comes away, blocked by Davis. Jackson Hayes comes up with a loose ball. Russell to Prince. Prince to the basket. Swatted away by Jackson Davis. Way up, don't go. Paul the rebound. Jackson Davis, the rookie, back up top. Thompson, nice fake, fires. Not that time. Fight for the rebound. Pajemski comes out of the pack. Lost it, deflected out. Laker ball.
This is something you have to be aware of, though, with the Warriors. They are an excellent offensive rebounding team, and sometimes it's the guards who are digging out in there.
Well, Pajemski, one of the best rebounding wings in the entire NBA, not just the rookie class. He's one of the best guard rebounders across the league.
He's been also overall one of the best rookies in the league and picked 19th. What a great selection by Mike Dunleavy, his very first selection as the head GM, and with Bob Myers had left.
I love that he's our Bob Myers now.
That happens very quickly. Within one appearance on the air. Reeves, half court heave. Side of the rim won't go. And that will end.
Yo, KO is going stupid, bro. What the fuck? He messed the community. Smoking gas, getting dope. I don't do my leg no more. Yes. Back in the day, I was lit, kind of like a lighter, call me juice. I'm smoking gas, getting dope. I don't do my leg no more. Back in the day, shit, I was lit. I feel like a lighter, call me juice. Big, it's me and McCoy. The best thing going. Pig Molly, 10 Molly, best thing rolling. Yes. I feel like a god damn it, and you know it. My girl is my trophy, so you know I love to show her. Oh, I pull up on the scene, 40 on me. I don't need to show it. I ain't kicking with them, they my homie. I told you if I do my dirt, I do it by my lonely. And all these niggas fake, then a bitch, they be phony. I'm down to spit some crack every time I'm on the beat, though. Chopping head and stomach, got him shaking, catching heat stroke. Looking at you, nigga, he a pussy, ain't he, bro? I don't gotta make it known as long as he know. Flying through the eye, I'm in the air, superhero. Swimming through the pussy in the water like a Nemo. Say he wanna fight, I beat him, still his bike Debo. Up, down, left, right, ABYX, bitch, that is the cheat code. I'm smoking gas, getting dope. I don't do my leg no more. I was lit, looking like a lighter, call me juice. Big, I'm smoking gas, and getting dope. I don't do my leg no more. Now I'm lit, super lit, call me juice lighter, yeah, big. Bring the hook back, freestyle the whole song. Me and the mic rapping all night long. Chopper beat his chest, kinda like King Kong. Beat your ass on TV to get my J Spring on. I'm the type to buy a mansion up in Atlanta with a black and white car like designer singing Panda. Oh my God! Push leaned over like a fan. Remember I was sipping lean like a present came from Santa. I was happy. Young nigga ballin' like McGrady in the fourth. Wish a nigga tryna play it. I'ma spray and get the torch. You ain't ballin' how I'm ballin'. Get the fuck off my court. If I go from back to the trap while the whipping with a fork. Louis on my sweater, they can't do it better than me. Heard you got her wet, but you can't get her wetter than me. Hey, looking up to God, I know he better than me. Hey, yeah, running fast. Hey, get the cash, smoking gas. Puffin' one time, then I pass. I'm fast, and these niggas slow. I'm a cheater, any name or last. Smoking gas, getting dough. I don't do my leg no more. Back in the days, I was lit, kinda like a lighter.
Call me Juice Big.
Now that's Bro, this nigga just making three songs. Bro, this nigga just making songs, bro.
That man just spit a whole goddamn.
Effortlessly, bro.
I ain't gonna lie.
Effortlessly, bro. It's insane.
Got to. That shit is crazy.
His shot is so pretty.
That's fucking fire, bro. Yeah, he's crazy. Black it out. For real. You got that shit on goddamn like Bruce Lee. Hey, Rex.
Jimmy with the 5 fucking gifted. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Tough to be more physical, and we gotta take them out of their stuff a little bit.
Jonathan Kuminga had a nice quarter. What's working with his game so far?
He's being aggressive. He's getting better with every game. He's getting more and more comfortable, understanding when to attack, when to pull the ball back out. So offensively, it was a great quarter, but we got to tighten up on defense.
Hey, thank you, Steve. Mike.
All right, Lisa. Klay Thompson hot early, 8 points. That's the first foul committed by the Lakers. Took to the second quarter. Lisa brought up Kuminga. You have Kuminga, Podziemski, Jackson Davis, Moody. All of these young players so important, not only now, but for the future of this franchise. They've all shown great potential and all have experienced growing pains as well. But so important, we talk about Curry has to be spectacular, but these young guys are going to have to perform in the biggest games of their lives.
Well, think about this. They win the championship in 2022. Last season in 23, their veteran core group was the best 5-man lineup in the NBA. They get off to a rough start. It's by necessity that these young players have gotten more playing time, and all of them have risen to the occasion.
Russell rises to the occasion.
And that's the back-to-back, man. Oh my God.
Continue this offensive onslaught. Max Christie in guarding Paul. Paul jump shot comes up short. Jackson Davis battling, but Prince able to knock it away. Prince started a lot of games early, now coming off the bench for Darvin Ham. Nice feed inside. Prince to Hayes. Hayes hangs on to that pivot foot. Misses badly. Well defended by Jackson Davis. Green to Thompson. No hesitation. That's good. Klay Thompson. His third three-pointer. He's got 13 points in 7 minutes.
He's trying to lock and trail as the defender. But, you know, we talk about Steph getting it off quickly. 0.58 seconds for Steph. From catch to release for Klay Thompson, good luck challenging that.
And Norris, I don't think you realize how tight of a pocket that was when Klay Thompson came off that screen and shot the ball. There were multiple defenders in the area.
LeBron James, meanwhile, with that beautiful pass to Russell. 6 assists for James. Lakers have 14 assists already on their 17 field goals. Thompson again, hand in his face, rattles it home. Klay Thompson now 5 of 7 from the field. Jackson Davis out on an island against James. Shot clock at 8. James drives, gets into the paint, sweeping hook shot. Nice touch off the glass. He definitely has a bounce to his step here in the first half offensively. Prince way out on Thompson. Klay Thompson feeling it. Plays catch with the rookie. Off the bounce, the runner banks it home, and the foul. 17 points in 8 minutes.
Boy, he's just showing you the vintage Klay right now, Mike. He's settled into the role off the bench. Not an easy transition. Such a proud player. One of the most electric scorers we've seen. Think about some of the series savings moments this guy has had. He's cooking offensively.